happy New Year's Eve to everybody who celebrates. And 2025 couldn't come to an end soon enough. Yeah, it's the golf nerd hat. I made a video this morning, but you wouldn't have known that I made the video this morning. I also accidentally posted 2 videos this morning at the same time. And I, honest to God, have no idea how one of those videos got posted. So it's been one of those mornings. Sorry for the late start. I was going to start on time. And then Jen called me and she gave me permission to start late, and I took that permission. And so here we are. Let me actually hop in the VC with her. So I just want you guys to know that Mom approved the late start today. Good morning, Jen.
Now that you leaning into the calling me mom thing.
It was weird. Yeah, it felt weird when I said it, to be honest. I didn't like it.
Yeah. I mean.
Good morning.
There you go. Good morning.
It was fun watching you rage quit last night. No, maybe not rage quit. Quietly.
I didn't rage quit. I escaped.
Quit.
I just escaped is what happened.
Yeah, my bad. Admir messaged me and said I need help. So I hopped on his TikTok, and then we were there for a long time last night.
Yeah, no, I wasn't planning on going up, but Admir invites me randomly when I go to his lives.
I think he was bringing you up to get to control me. I think that's probably why.
Possibly, but I mean,
I did drop Angel like 5 times.
Did you really?
I didn't know I had mod access. I had no idea. And then I saw like that little red marker when people in the guest request, and I realized right as he started screaming that I had mod access. So I just kept dropping it. And Admir's like, "Who the fuck is doing that?" And it was me.
He gets so emotional. Well, Admir knows. He just won't necessarily call it out.
Oh, he knows it's me? I don't know if he knows.
It pops up who kicks people out.
Listen, I still don't know if he knows. I know that it pops up and says that, but I don't know that he knows.
There's been a couple times where I've kicked people or whatever from his lives, and he acts like he doesn't know, but he knows.
Oh, all right. Well, I did it.
But he also says he's scared of me. So
everybody's. Yeah, raise your hand if you're afraid of Jen. I think that's everybody.
Do you guys need like a support group or? So.
Okay, now the abuser is calling everybody pussies. How about that?
I mean,
suck it up.
I mean, I'm not that. I'm like 5'3". I'm not scary.
Do you think there was like a life path for you where you could have been like a asshole MAGA?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so.
What if you were raised in Utah?
No, well, where I was actually raised is like, I think it's more where I was raised. It was a very small town kind of thing. So, I mean, if anything was going to make me MAGA, it would have been where I grew up.
Where did you grow up? Do you want to say? Good morning,
Fax.
I
don't want to say it out loud, but I'll message you.
Fax is picking on me. Was it California?
Yeah, it was in California.
Oh, okay. There's not that many towns there, so yeah, you don't want to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, here. I'll just text it to you, or DM it to you right now. And it's close to.
Oh, Huntington Beach. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. You have anything to say to the people before we get going?
No, but we just got a couple of Venmos in that I haven't opened up yet.
Oh shit! Thanks, guys.
Let me see if one. I saw the names, but I didn't see who it from. So, all right. Here, I didn't see the message.
Why don't you just read them?
That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, okay.
Renee says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Renee.
And Ryan says Happy New Year. Great seeing you grow and look forward to 2026.
Is that a fat joke? Is that a fat joke?
What?
To
growing?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you planning on eating a lot of food in 2026?
No, I'm trying to do the opposite.
I've actually dropped weight. Like I'm like my high school size.
You do. You can't say that publicly, but I noticed that you look great, Jen.
What?
I said I noticed that you look great, Jen.
Weirdo. And Ryan thinks so. Here again.
How uncomfortable Jen gets if you give her a compliment.
Shut up, Jay. Don't be weird. Don't say weird shit.
Sorry, my bad.
Don't say weird shit.
My bad.
All right, keep going. If like the stream wherever you're watching, if you can, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats for the gift goal. What What else? And then I don't know if you want to. Did you add any stories about how if the Epstein information comes out, it's going to demolish the entire country? I hope you added some of that to the outline.
Wait, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
Remember how Admiral Angel said last night that we can't release the files because it will ruin the entire country. So I hope you added some of that.
Okay, if anybody was there last night, am I crazy? Like, I don't hate MJ. I know some people do. Like, I feel like I have good conversations with him. He has a very soothing voice. But was it not crazy what he was saying when he was trying to? What was he even trying to explain?
Well, it could be a national security risk because Trump is president.
Because
and that picture
of the flight logs.
Maxwell and him could be a risk because it's possible that there could be some kind of national security risk.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was the weirdest answer. It was like, I asked him how a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell with Donald Trump could be a national security risk. And his answer was something along the lines of, well, everybody believed the flight logs and they got outraged about the flight logs. And so that could be a national security risk.
Yeah, it was that and foreign policy.
Yeah, they also changed it to foreign policy. I definitely said national security risk. Yeah.
But then also Angel was very enlightening with that it could, if these people in power have done all these bad things, then other people will revolt and there would be almost like a revolution, is what it felt like he was saying. But he wasn't saying that, even though he was.
I don't know if you caught this story. I caught it late, so I'll probably cover it. We probably won't do a show tomorrow. Depends on how late I stay up tonight, or maybe we'll do a later show.
I was expecting we probably wouldn't have one,
but they found like 3.5 million more files today. Like somehow the DOJ is just like we got more files.
Million. Like 5.1 million or something like that.
5.1. Is that what it is?
Something. I saw something like that, but the whole point of it was supposed to be released. It wasn't supposed to get extensions like that. At least that's my understanding.
This is late stage MAGA. It's got to be late stage MAGAism, where they're just
so
like
much hope.
Constantly confronted with obvious things. And they're like, I don't want to go there.
To be able to bend over backwards like that to try to justify what this is just insane to me.
I got a violation on Twitter today because somebody said that we need to line Tim Walz up against the wall, and I asked him if he was trying to fuck Tim Walz, and I got a violation on Twitter.
You got a violation, but
how the fuck do you get how do you get a violation on Twitter? I didn't even know.
I don't know.
It's like,
I think you're the only person that I know who still associates with Twitter. So
I see the craziest shit on Twitter. Somebody calls me some sort of gay slur every single day. But I bring up that he wants to fuck Tim Walz, and that was too far for Twitter, apparently.
You went too far. I don't know.
I was just asking too. I wasn't upset about it. If
you that's to foster genuine questions. A thought experiment.
Yeah.
Like that. Just asking questions. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, Gradual Decay's here, just screaming catchphrases. How long before I get tired of Gradual Decay and kick him out today?
He's here early, so it won't probably take long.
Yeah, if he makes it an hour, that's going to be impressive today.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's Gradual Decay. You can, if you guys disagree with RTP while he's here, you guys can come up and talk. You don't have to scream in the comments like a big baby. Add me on Discord, which doesn't cost any money, and you're gonna probably say that you don't like Discord because it's whatever. But you can actually come up and talk. So
I learned about Discord the other day. Did you know that Discord was like a video game company, and their games sucked, but they figured out like a better way to communicate through Discord, and so it was like a failure, but then they adopted just that part of the technology, and since other gamers like had a hard time communicating and they could use Discord instead, it became like this staple. But it's actually,
I didn't know. I knew it was used for gaming, but I didn't know it was a game itself.
Yeah, it was a
this
failure.
Is even more embarrassing for Gradual Decay. He doesn't even go here. He lives in England.
Oh, okay. Gradual decay is probably talking about his teeth then. That makes more sense. Sorry to our UK friends. I'm sure some of you have great teeth. All right, let's get started. Joel said, thank you for the super chat. Danielle said, once the Epstein files are released, blackmail over Trump is gone. Asa Sophia said, Dollar Train, you saw the tweet that Pam Bondi praised Biden administration but deleted the tweet. Other than that, I wish you all the great last day of the year. Thank you. Thanks, Brother Bob. I actually forgot. I know I tagged that. I'll pull that up because I forgot to add that to the outline. But good reminder, Asta Sophia. Who had this? What I'm trying to remember. Ted.
There was
Ted Lieu.
There was a message that came in late last year from Samantha. Said, "Thanks for covering Vivek. I can only hope that my fellow Ohioans are."
What was the end?
No, hold on. I read it like when I was reading it. So I can only hope my fellow Ohioans are more racist than they're misogynistic as they cast their ballots for gubernatorial election.
All right, here's what they're talking about with Pam Bondi. So Pam Bondi tweeted this out yesterday. Since day one, the Trump administration and this Department of Justice have been fighting to end the drug epidemic in our country. President Trump closed the border. DOJ agents have seized hundreds of millions potentially lethal fentanyl doses. We're aggressively prosecuting whatever. And she showed this chart, which is awesome. Look at this. Look, massive decrease in drug overdose deaths. This is by region. So really good in the Northeast. Really good in the Midwest. This is the South. This is national. And this is the West, who needs to pick it up. Unfortunately, before she posted this, she didn't pay attention that this is annual drug overdose death rates from October 2015 to October 2024. And so Trump wasn't in office for this, but she posted it to take credit for something. Don't pay attention to the Epstein files. We're really doing something. And then post.
We don't see it.
Oh, shit. I'm so sorry. I do this every fucking day. One of these days. Sorry. Here it is. It's real. Shut up, all of you. Shut up. Here it is. This is going to be, God, what a nightmare. This is the chart she chose. So you see this this massive decline here. She was trying to take credit for this. And then Ted Lieu tweeted at her like, hey, check the dates. And then she deleted it immediately. So I don't know what the numbers are now. I'd assume that if the numbers aren't lower than this, then they're not doing a good job. We'll see what the numbers are. But if the numbers have stabilized or don't keep going down, then I think it's safe to say that what Donald Trump is doing is not as effective as what Joe Biden did. So, good job, Attorney General Pam Bondi. There is a lot of this. Department of Energy decided to retweet Trump here. Trump tweeted out, windmills are killing all of our beautiful bald eagles. As you can see here, this is a dead falcon, likely a kestrel, not a bald eagle. It was taken at a wind farm in Israel in 2017. Says Hebrew text is visible on the turbine right there. So not a bald eagle, not America, and from 2017. And U.S. Department of Energy retweeted that because everybody that works in our government just like sucks Donald Trump's dick all the time. It's all they do. He tweeted something. We must get it out. Trump is literally fighting wind. Crazy. What's worse, actually, like he does get dumber every day, but then the people around him are just pretending he's not getting dumber. So now they're pretending what he's saying makes sense. So just collectively, everybody is getting dumber. You can see the Arabic numbers too. That's right. All right. This was from Twitter account Roger Solenberger. There was a bigger story on this from, I want to say it was Bulwark. And that's what this article is here. But this is Trump scamming people. This Roger Solenberger posted this. This is one of the craziest Trump fundraising emails I've seen, if not the craziest. Telling donors that he'll get a tariff rebate check. Then the only way you can submit your answer is by giving them money. So they get this email. It says, from Trump, confirmed check here. You have Trump holding cash. behind a green screen. I don't know why they didn't put anything in there. And you can see here, it says, this is the only tariff rebate message authorized by President Trump. Would you accept a tariff rebate check signed by Trump? Yes or no? In order to sign here, you also have to donate. The last thing this guy needs is money, but he's still blasting scams out to retired people. The Bulwark article is this guy who went home for Christmas and saw his parents. He said, it started when I noticed a Post-it note on my grandparents' fridge. It said, I donated $10 to Trump to get a $2,000 tariff check. It read at the end, it said, I am charged to give $10 monthly. They're charging a $10 recurring fee to get this $2,000 non-existent tariff check. They're just scamming their own fucking people nonstop. What is he raising money for, by the way? Yeah, good question, RGZ. He has this massive PAC. Somehow our president has this massive PAC, and I imagine they're just going to load that with money so that they can continue to control politicians. When I asked my grandma about it, she showed me her phone. Her texts, it turns out, are absolutely clogged with the scuzziest GOP fundraising solicitations imaginable. Before I sign your name on your tariff check, is Patricia spelled right? Patricia, it's Trump, and I'm heartbroken. I don't have verification to claim your MAGA Golden Eagle Award. Don't take it around windmills or it's fucked. Can't believe you said no to Trump's $5,000 dividend check. Are you sure that's your answer? This is what they're doing to their own people. They do not give a fuck about any of you. That's fair, Danielle. They may deserve it, but maybe not grandparents. I remember when my grandparents were still alive, and getting them to live in reality with anything was a problem. I can't imagine my grandparents with social media and just getting absolutely drubbed with fake news all day. It's called fundraising, diphthong. It's called lying, diphthong. I haven't seen stuff like this. When I worked for the GOP, we didn't send out shit like this. I get fundraising emails all the time from the DNC. I don't get shit like this from the DNC. I don't have verification to claim your MAGA Golden Eagle Award. This is just further proof. MAGA, you're in a fucking cult. This is why you lost the country. We lost the country because you point out fraud. Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. You guys are falling apart. Honestly, the bots have gotten so, I think you might be real people, actually. You're probably not bots. You guys have gotten worse. Earlier when we were saying that, like, when Trump gets dumber, you get dumber, that's what we mean. You're all getting dumber collectively, and it's tough to watch. It's a little sad, but mostly tough. Hey, Howdy said diphthong? I've never heard diphthong before, but I like it. I might use it. Do people open those emails? Yeah, apparently. Here's a story coming out. We're going to have some more MAGA infighting here. It's a bizarre story coming out of Colorado, who Donald Trump hates because they didn't vote for him, and they tried to keep him off the ballot. Now, a reminder that the people in Colorado that tried to keep Donald Trump off the ballot were Republicans. And we know that because only Republicans could have brought that lawsuit. They were the only ones with a claim. So it was Republican, and then we had a Supreme Court, and obviously we know they were Republicans. So Republicans who don't like Trump tried to keep him off the ballot. So now Trump, doing what he's been doing, is going to get retribution on all these states who said mean things about him. Here's another example in Colorado.
President Trump just used his first veto of his current term to kill a funding project for drinking water in Colorado. The bill passed Congress with unanimous bipartisan support. This veto comes as Trump has promised retaliation against Colorado for keeping his ally Tina Peters in prison for her scheme to tamper with voting systems. Trump's recently denied disaster funding to Colorado and is breaking up the NCAR Science Lab in Boulder. This pipeline project is in the district of Republican Congress.
Yeah. Fuck your clean water. You guys don't like me. I don't get paid a lot for my shill, Jacob, but you're having a lot of big feelings this morning. Guys, can you take care of Jacob in the chat? He's having a lot of big feelings today. He needs somebody to talk to.
Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who recently stood up to Trump to force the release of the government.
Yeah, Danielle, Congress can veto, they can override his veto with 60%. This is where it'll get interesting because it passed unanimously. And now that Trump has said that he's going to veto this, we're going to find out real quick how many Republicans are just Trump dick riders and how many Republicans have a mind of their own. I don't know if they're going to get 60% or not, but I can tell you it will not be a unanimous override. There are going to be Republicans who go, oh, Donnie said we can't do this, and now they're going to vote against it.
Files on the infamous pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Trump is now killing the bill to finish the Arkansas Valley Conduit, a decades-long project to bring safe drinking water to 39 communities on the eastern plains between Pueblo and Lamar. The groundwater there is high in salt, and wells sometimes unleash radioactivity into the water supply. This project was first approved by Congress in 1962. In recent years, the cost estimate nearly doubled. Trump's veto message called it a taxpayer handout, suggested it should be paid for locally. Colorado's Democratic senators have chipped away at the funding gap on this project for more than a decade. And Republican Congresswoman Boebert sponsored the House version of the bill to get it across the finish line. She told me tonight she hopes that this veto is not political retribution.
It does make you wonder, and I hope that's not the case.
Does anybody know that she's been getting kid rocked? I used to think I could fix Lauren Boebert. I've abandoned that. That's a tough freeze frame mid-stroke there. Did you guys know she's getting kid rocked now? Yeah. She's actually currently under investigation because she used some campaign funds to go to like a Kid Rock event. And I think it was like $900 for tickets and then like a couple thousand for a hotel. But yeah, she's getting kid rocked. She's getting ba with the ba, the banged, the banged, diggy diggy. It's not great.
Told by the White House this is not retribution, but when it's the first of two bills that have been
what do you mean? It means I have a chance. Yeah, a chance at chlamydia. I pass. If you voluntarily have sex with somebody that has already had sex with Kid Rock, then I like that's just a death wish.
Vetoed in this administration in just the first year of this administration, it kind of makes you want to step back and say, well, what's really going on here? But regardless, I was elected to serve Colorado's 4th district. This project stretches.
Can we also talk about how she got elected to serve Colorado's 4th district? She was in, I think, Colorado 1 or Colorado 2, and she was going to lose. So she just went to like the Trumpiest district. She moved. She just gave up mid-cycle, decided not to run for re-election, moved, and then went to like the most MAGA district. She was going to lose. She's that unpopular. Is Jacob still spiraling? Jacob, I gave you babysitters. What's going on? Don't pick on the babysitters. Be nice to the babysitters, Jacob, or we have to get you out of here.
Beyond the 4th district to constituents that I have served in the past and will continue to serve. And I will ensure that they get this access that they so desperately are needing.
The Senate and the House sent this bill to President Trump by voice vote.
Thanks, Jacob. I hope you finished. Jacob says, I love you saying my name. Good. I hope that's what you need. Do you want me to say it slowly? Jacob. Got this, buddy.
Which suggests there could be wide margins to overturn the president's veto, but only if Republican leaders in the House and Senate will allow an override vote. Boebert said that she's already been in touch with Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson to figure out ways to pass this funding bill, either through a veto override or by rolling it into other legislation.
All right. Jacob, call me daddy and I'll mute you, okay? If you want that muting, I need you to beg for it. Call me daddy. Say, daddy, please mute me, and then I'll mute you. I actually can't mute you because I don't know how, but somebody will. One of the mods that knows what they're doing will mute you. But you do have to call me daddy. All right. Is this the right one? Let me make sure this is the right one. All right. Here's the pipeline that they're talking about. A few extra details, again, from Kyle Clark here. Trump decided to veto a completely non-controversial bipartisan bill that passed both the House and Senate unanimously. Why? Because nothing says America first like denying clean drinking water to 50,000 people in Southeast Colorado. Bobert said, I must have missed the rally where he stood in Colorado and promised to personally derail critical water infrastructure projects. My bad. I thought the campaign was about lowering costs and cutting red tape. But hey, if this administration wants to make its legacy blocking projects that deliver water to rural Americans, that's on them. I'm going to continue fighting for Colorado and standing for our rural communities, our farmers, and every family that deserves safe, reliable drinking water without decades more delay. And then she's turning into a lefty. She's going to point out that Trump might be doing this because she voted to release the Epstein files that he definitely wanted out there. He definitely wanted to release them and didn't try and threaten anybody to withhold them. And she said, and I sincerely hope this veto has nothing to do with political retaliation for calling out corruption and demanding accountability. Americans deserve leadership that puts people over politics. This is not the last Southeast Colorado will hear from me on this critical infrastructure project. Big, brave Bobo. Colin, we covered the corruption in Minnesota, and we'll get there again. I covered it long before Nick Shirley. I'm sorry that you're just finding out about this story from a dipshit 23-year-old who keeps lying about shit, but we'll get to that in a minute. Relax. Is that the only thing that's important in this country? We shouldn't talk about Trump canceling a pipeline for clean drinking water? No, because it makes Trump look bad, and we get uncomfortable when Trump looks bad. We want to talk about things that make Trump look good or make libbies look bad. Go start your own fucking channel. You can be like Nick Shirley. You can be an absolute fucking moron who lies for a living and gets caught lying for a living, and you can stay on the right as long as you openly fillet Donald Trump. Nobody will care. None of you care that Nick Shirley has been caught lying on virtually every story he's ever put out there. Every fucking time. He lied on this one too. And again, I covered it before he did. We all covered it before he did. People that have been here, we've been covering that story for months. Sorry that you're just learning about it now and you're learning about it from the world's dumbest person, but we'll help you with that. I've got some fact checks for you as we go on throughout the day. Asta Sophia says, golden cell phone. Where's that now? Thanks, Ryan. That's generous. Said, Happy New Year. Great seeing you grow and look forward to 20. Oh, we read that one. Thank you very much, brother. That was very, very generous. All right. Which one's this? This was another Kyle Clark. It's the same video, actually. I just put it on there twice. All right, I want to talk about San Francisco. I heard something yesterday when I was scrolling through TikTok. I heard Hoodie. I don't know if Hoodie's here. Hoodie said that his electric prices in California are going down. He has PG&E. And I wanted to show you guys this because while people like Hoodie are celebrating this, and they should, let's talk about their actual press release. PG&E will cut electric rates for the fourth time in 2 years on January 1st, 2026. Natural gas rates are also going down. Combined with previous decreases, residential electric rates will be 11% lower in January 2024. Great job, Donald Trump. Or then in 2024, reinforcing the company's commitment to manage energy costs for customers. Since January 2024, typical residential electric customers will pay about $20 less on their monthly bill. We know how important stable and predictable bills are for families and businesses. That's why we are lowering rates, even as national prices are expected to rise. Great job, California. This must be Donald Trump lowering their rates. Gas prices have come down so much. Our actions match our promises. We've reduced electric rates multiple times since 2024, and we remain committed to finding new ways to save and pass these savings on to our customers. Again, MAGA, baby. PG&E's electric prices have stabilized and are going down, even while U.S. Energy Information Administration is forecasting national electric prices to increase by nearly 10%. So across the country, prices are going up 10%, but somehow in liberal California, Donald Trump has pulled off this miracle to bring down prices. On January 1st, residential electric rates will decrease about 5% for customers who get both electric supply and delivery service from PG&E compared to current rates. For customers who receive California alternate rates for energy, discount rates will decrease about 6%. Typical residential electric bills will decrease by $7 a month. For care customers, bills will go down $4 a month. Typical electric customers use about 500 kilowatt hours of electricity per month. Okay. So how's this happening? How did Trump pull this off? How did he do it? Well, it says PG&E has completed a number of safety and reliability projects for customers, and those costs are coming out of rates. The prices PG&E pays for electric commodity to serve customers who receive energy supply from the company are expected to be lower in 2026 than in 2025. How are they doing this? Natural gas is going to go down by about $1 per month. Now, we know how this is going down, and I'll show you a video here in a minute. There's been massive public pressure on PG&E for taking record profits and raising the prices on California consumers. But PG&E says they manage natural gas spike supply prices for customers by buying gas from multiple sources, storing gas when prices are low, and using financial tools to protect against spikes in winter. Oh, they have enough money that they can store that, so that's good. Other factors can impact gas bills. Colder than average temperatures can increase customer gas usage and bills. Thanks, global warming. Growing demand for liquefied natural gas and electricity from natural gas-fired power plants can increase gas demand and prices. PG&E does not set the electric generation rates that DA, yada, 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 yada. All right. How'd they do it? How did they drop the price of their electric bills while the rest of the country is going up? Jacob, here, I'll give you some attention. How did this happen? Any ideas? Is that not closing? Got sued, state tax. Yeah, there you go, Leroy. Renewable energy. Solar energy. It has pushed down the demand. Supply and demand is an economic principle that you guys should be really, really aware of. They've increased wind energy and solar energy, and it drove down demand. And now California, the liberal hellhole, has figured out how to lower prices while everybody else's prices are going up. Crazy how that worked, right? Also this is another reason their prices are going down, is because they are being threatened by Californians to say, we're not going to allow private companies to run electricity anymore.
We could get rid of PG&E and switch to public power right now in San Francisco. We don't actually need any new legislation to do this.
Sorry, this video is a little lower. I can't adjust this volume.
We just need our elected officials to have some guts. PG&E's faulty infrastructure led to a massive blackout last weekend, and since then, we've been seeing power outages all last week, especially in the Richmond and Sunset. So I was glad to see our state senator come out in support of public power. But his plan to do it is to introduce new legislation to break up PG&E. But the thing is, he tried that in 2020 and it failed. And this is probably going to fail again. And we don't even need it. San Francisco could seize PG&E's infrastructure in the city right now through eminent domain and switch to public power. No new legislation needed. To use eminent domain, San Francisco has to pay a fair...
I just want to explain this a little bit. This isn't going to be like a right or a left thing. At some point, people's electricity bills are going to be out of control. And our only option will be massive government overreach to establish eminent domain and take over these companies. I live in Arizona. We have SRP and then we have APS. And they fuck with our prices all the time. In fact, like I have solar and it's sunny enough every day that I could use solar and just completely power my house. But I'm not allowed to do that because SRP worked out a deal with the government where at least half of the day from, I think I use solar from, I want to say it's 10 to 4 or 10 to 5. And in the rest of the day, I have to be connected to the grid and I have to use their power. We could just stop doing that. We could just stop paying these people money to provide energy for us and the government could do it. And it's going to get to a point in a lot of these red states where there's not going to be a different option. So you're going to suddenly see Republicans saying, we're going to seize these companies to lower our prices because that will be your only option. If you live in a red state and if you've had a hard time paying your electric bill last year, it's going up 11% this year across the country. If it was hard last year, it's going to be harder this year. Doesn't matter how far gas prices. Mr. Global, if you don't know who Mr. Global is, check him out. He's explained this. He thinks 11% is low. But we're going to see all of these bills go up. I think we're on the verge of what happened the last time we had wealth inequality, this disproportionate. You're going to see a massive takeover by the people, and you will have progressive policies for 30, 40, 50 years. And the Republicans that are here, they're upset. Like, you'll still be mad that we're not being racist enough, and you'll cry about it. But don't worry, it's for your own good. Okay? We'll take care of the economics. We'll take care of energy. You'll have lower prices. And I'm sorry that we're going to be nice to black and brown people, but you'll be able to deal with that. You'll get over it, I think.
Fair market price to PG&E to buy its distribution lines in the city. But we asked for that price, and after a year, PG&E and the California Public Utilities Commission has still not given us a price. Well, we're tired of waiting. PG&E wants to delay this whole process, and creating even more legislation that we don't even need and that's sure to fail is just going to create more delays. Instead, the city should move to use eminent domain at a price.
Funny you bring that up, Sports by the Gram. This thing that I'm talking about, where we take control of private companies, it's what Donald Trump's currently doing. So, like, if what we're suggesting here is communism, then by definition, Trump is a communist, right? When he's taking stakes in Intel and in NVIDIA. The hell of it is, one, that's not communism, because communism requires no government. If you're a communist, you don't believe government should exist. But it's interesting how when things start falling apart, capitalism doesn't work anymore. And even the most ardent capitalists like Donald Trump have to rely on socialism. And that's the beauty of Karl Marx. If you go read about Karl Marx, Marxism is basically a critique on capitalism, and it predicts accurately what happens with capitalism, and that the solution to crony capitalism and end-stage capitalism will be socialism. And you're seeing it in your own party, but you're just closing your eyes or calling it something different. But even Republicans are recognizing that their only solution right now is actual socialism. And they tell you it's not socialism, it's freedom goodness. And you're like, yeah, not socialism. You wouldn't know socialism if it's kicked you in the dick. But they're doing it right now, right in front of you, and you don't know.
That we feel is fair right now. We've tried to work with PG&E to get to that price, but they're not working with us. We pay some of the highest utility bills in the country, and people in other cities where they have public power pay about half of what we do on their utility bill. PG&E, they keep asking for rate hikes so that they can provide a higher profit to their shareholders and keep paying their CEO about...
Oh, you silly goose chunk, Norris. I didn't say capitalism doesn't work. I said that Marx accurately predicted that capitalism would turn into crony capitalism, and you'd have massive wealth inequality, and you would need to use socialism to fix it. If you know anything about me at all, and you might be new here, I don't think communists, socialists, or capitalists are right. I think all of those political ideologies are flawed and can be corrupted. So what you have to do is you have to make decisions based on what's in front of you. And sometimes that decision will be things that align more with socialism. And sometimes those decisions will align more with capitalism. And we have a mixed economy. We've always had a mixed economy. We live in a mixed economy. We don't live in a capitalist country. We have socialism all over the place. It's kept us, in fact, socialism in the form of Medicare kept something like 50% of our seniors from living in abject poverty. We had a problem in this country where seniors were retiring or they couldn't work anymore, and they didn't have any money. And the capitalists didn't provide them with enough money so that they could retire. And so we had to come up with Social Security and Medicare to take care of seniors. That's why those programs exist, because capitalism was failing. So we used an element of social democracy, and we took care of that problem. I would criticize anybody who's any of those things, a communist, a socialist, or a capitalist. When somebody says, like, can people that argue against socialism, and they say, oh, look, it gets bastardized and it gets hijacked by authoritarians. True. Same with communism. Same with capitalism. That none of those systems are perfect. It's a weird thing that we do, and it's indicative of the problems that we have in America, where we can never have real conversations because everybody's a fucking ideologue, especially on the right. You're just all ideologues. You hear the word socialism and you get scared. But, like, you couldn't be talking to me right now without socialism. These lines that are transferring all of our data over the internet, that was built by the government. That was built by taxpayer money. It's being used by people who, like, for example, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch or TikTok, all of those companies were built using capital. So that would have been capitalism, but they relied on a socially paid for network in order to exist. So none of this, everything we're doing right now, couldn't exist without social spending. So don't be a person who thinks like just one of those systems is perfect and will always work. It really depends on like where you're at economically, where how money is being transferred. And right now, all the money is being transferred to the top, and we need to fix that. And the only way we have to fix this massive wealth transfer is with the only power we have. And the only power we have is the government. That's why we have a representative government. So then we say to the government, hey, we need to fix our economic structure because all of the money is going to the top and it's just sitting there. And people are very poor and people can't pay for their can't pay basic bills. So we need to fix that. So we're going to have to use the government and we're going to have to pull some of that wealth back. It's basic stuff that would be easy for everybody to understand and agree on if we weren't ideologically driven. Socialism should make you scared. Why? Why, Chris? Why should socialism make me scared? More people have died under socialism than any other government. Can you quantify that, please? Could you give me an example of people who died because of socialism? Please? I'm a little tired today, so I'm going to talk to the chat, and I'm going to talk nicely. Could you just give me an example? Chunk North, see, you don't understand what capitalism is. You think money is capitalism. What I'm not making money from capitalism right now. I don't have capital. Nobody funded me to start this. I'm being paid for doing a service or as an entertainer, whatever. For whatever reason anybody gives me money right now, it's because of I'm entertaining them, I'm informing them. Maybe they just have pity for me. That's not capitalism. That's just money. Making money is not capitalism. Capitalism is taking capital and building up a business. I didn't do that, did I? What's the politically... is anybody going to answer that question? Oh, yeah, we should stop waste, fraud, and abuse. Cigar Man, what is the biggest... where are the biggest parts of our government where we have fraud? Do you know? Oh, I'm going to get this number. How much does the United States have in outstanding back taxes? Let's talk about that. $700 billion a year we don't collect in taxes that are owed. Is that fraud? We are not a capitalist society, and I'm not doing capitalist activities. John, money is not capitalism. Somebody tell me if the $700 billion a year in fraud, should we go after that? We tried. Remember when Biden tried to hire a bunch of IRS agents? And then the Trump administration's like, no, we have to get rid of them. That's not fraud? No, that's not the fraud we're talking about. We're talking about Somalis. Only Somalis. Where are you guys? I want to know. Is that fraud? Is $700 billion a year in not paying your taxes fraud? Come on, John. I'm going to have to start muting you guys if you want to answer the question. I'm asking you, John Woods. You have to answer my question or you get muted for 5 minutes. Now I'm done being nice. Is that fraud, John? Should we address that fraud? $700 billion a year. Should we address that? Look at him. No, we shouldn't address that. No. They weren't armed, Pilium. You're just dumb. They weren't hiring armed IRS agents to go to your house. No? All right, we'll move on. Seems like these guys aren't very serious about fraud sometimes. As soon as we bring up fraud that is about taxes, they're, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Yesterday we had somebody came up and debated. We'll get rid of PG&E here. And we talked about Canada. Here is Mark Carney Canada's prime minister, saying the quiet part out loud, that Canada no longer trusts the United States and they're going to look elsewhere for trade now.
All right, good morning. Look, for months we have stressed the importance of distinguishing things we can control and things we can't control. We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We recognize that that policy has fundamentally changed from the policy in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. And it's a situation where the United States has tariffs against every one of their trading partners to different degrees. And it's in that context that our officials, my colleagues, have been working with their American colleagues on detailed, constructive negotiations, discussions on specific transactions, specific sectors, steel, aluminum, and energy. And a lot of progress has been made. And we stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions, because it will be for the benefit of workers in the United States, workers in Canada, and families in both of our countries. Now, what we can control, absolutely, is how we build here at home. And that's the focus of Budget 2025, generational investment here in Canada. And what we can also control, or at least heavily influence, is developing new partnerships and opportunities, including with the economic giants of Asia, which is the focus of this trip.
Yeah. They're looking to Asia. They're looking to China. They're looking to trade elsewhere. We're being abandoned by all of our trade partners. I don't think a lot of Republicans understand how reliant we are on a global economy, but we are reliant on a global economy. Chunk Norris, I don't give a fuck. This is a dictatorship. If you do not assimilate to our culture here, you will be deported out of this live. We have chosen collectively to adopt your immigration policy, and we now treat you like you treat immigrants. If you don't like it, stop treating immigrants the same way. But don't be a bitch. Don't come in here and be a bitch that you're complaining that you're now being treated the same way that you guys want to treat immigrants. By the way, when you're talking about the IRS agents being armed, you're wrong about that. There are some IRS agents who are armed. What we were hiring for was actually just replacing IRS agents that were going to be retiring so that we could collect this money. But I noticed that there's no outrage from any of you when there are armed Homeland Security agents going door to door to try and get fraudsters. I noticed that it doesn't bother you that these people that are going around, these debt police, are going around right now with no authority, by the way, in Minnesota, because Homeland Security doesn't investigate fraud for citizens, do they? No, they don't. But they're doing it anyways, and they are armed. And that doesn't bother you. Why? Well, they're black and brown. It's different. I only don't like it when it's me. That's the problem. Like, none of the things that you do make any fucking sense. You just think white, first-class citizen, immigrants, black and brown immigrants, second-class citizens. That's why. But if you have a problem with the IRS being armed, then certainly you would also have a problem with Homeland Security being armed while they go and investigate fraud, right? I do like it here. I just don't like you guys. And the good news for me and people like me is that we can read, we have better arguments than you, and we are palatable in public. If you said the things that you dipshits are saying right now in public, you would be pushed into the corners. People don't want people like you in public. That's why you guys only say this shit online. That's why you all hide behind screen names. That's why when I ask you to come up here and debate, you won't do it. You sit there behind a screen name and you talk your racist shit. But society doesn't like you. You're just lucky that you have an outlet that you can show up and be bigots every fucking day. But every one of you is a fucking coward. Every one of you is proving to be a fucking racist right now, and you're freaking the fuck out right now. You're just saying things like, I suck. You could just come prove me wrong. But I do this in public. This is my face. You know my name. I put this out there every single day. I'm not a little bitch who hides behind a screen name and says racist shit. I'm not a little, like, I can't really run when I'm proven wrong because I'm right fucking here. But every time we point out that you guys don't hold the same standards for white people that you do for black and brown people, you change the subject or you leave the chat. Because before anything, before you're MAGA, before you're Americans, before you're Christians, before you're a man, a woman, a child, before any of those other identities, your first identity is and always will be bitch ass pussies. Every fucking one of you. Intellectually, bitch ass pussies. And if you want to prove that I'm wrong, we have a Discord. You can join, you can message Jen on Discord, and you can come up here and you could correct any of these facts. But you won't do that because first and foremost, your knee-jerk reaction to everything is to be bitch ass pussies. And now that I'm saying it directly to you, and you guys are all tough and you're all so fucking smart, now that I've got you pissed off, I imagine now you'll come up here and you'll show some courage, right? Today's the day that these same bitch-ass trolls that show up every day, today's the day one of them will get courage. Everybody you listen to is a pussy. Every one of them. All bitch asses. They don't want to debate anymore. You guys all just talk about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk debated. Yeah. That's the difference between Charlie Kirk and you. He debated. He would have had this conversation. You're not going to have this conversation. Debate me from the comments, please. You won't do it. So come on up, or everybody here knows you're just a bitch. I act like a woman. Why? Because you want to hit me? Is that why, Vince? When I want to hit somebody, I immediately think they're a woman. Yeah, we get it. We get it. I like women. I prefer women over men. I don't know. Do you prefer men over women? That's going to be a problem. We call that closeted. But anyways, there's the rant for today. If any of you have any courage, you'll come up. What are we betting? What are the odds that one of these people comes up? What do we think the odds are? 2%? We do this 5 days a week. Yesterday, we had one person come up. That's the first person who's come up in like a month. Don't recommend channel. Thanks, Quinn. I don't like this. This guy is being a real meanie. Report me. No, I'm not homophobic. I'm just wondering. I love gay people, too. Casket says, what RTP is doing is providing a service for free and accepting gifts. I suppose if you get creative, you can expand that to the definition of trade, but it's definitely not capitalism. I am Jim. Thank you, Jim. Amy Lynn says, they say higher wages, increase prices, and then say rich people pay tariffs. Marlene says, who the fuck is Nick Shirley? I love that you asked that question. And unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about Nick Shirley here in a minute. But that's a great question, and I'm glad that you're wondering that. I want to show this healthcare scam graphic. I thought we've talked about this a bunch, but this was a really interesting graphic. And if you're in the Discord, this can be provided. It's something you can share. This shows how many times you wind up paying for healthcare and why it's so expensive. So here's you. This is you paying for healthcare. You pay into the healthcare system. You pay for premiums from either your paycheck or if you're self-employed, deductibles and copays, which is when you actually use it. Then you pay Medicare taxes, whether you use it or see it or not. It comes out of your check. And then federal and state taxes. These are all the ways you're being charged for health insurance now. Then you pay local hospital district levies on your property, commercial rates that are baked into every rate, employer's contribution, which is redirected compensation. And then if you don't pay it, they send you to collections. Or we could get rid of all of this shit and just do this one part right here, Medicare taxes. We could loop it all into Medicare taxes. You pay your Medicare taxes every year, and that's it. But Republicans will have you believe that this convoluted system is better for you. You got to pay your premiums. Then you got to, if you decide to use your insurance, you have to pay for it with your deductibles, your copays, co-insurance. Again, Medicare tax, then federal and state taxes. Then you have your property taxes. Then you have commercial rates where you're paying for the salaries of CEOs. Then your employer's paying into it too, where they can't pay you as much. Your take-home pay goes less. This is why Republicans are broken. Because you can look at something this obvious and not realize that the only solution is to get rid of all this shit and do Medicare for all, which will be cheaper and have better outcomes, and it will be more equitable, and everybody gets health care. I don't want to pay for people's free shit. We get it. We've heard it from you guys every single day. It's cheaper. It's better. And you're not paying a bunch of money to people who don't do anything for you. Cool graphic, though. I just wanted to show that, and you can pass that around social media. Here's GOP Representative Sherry Biggs, because I'd like to remind all of you that while your healthcare premiums are skyrocketing, raise your hand if you've seen your healthcare premiums for this next year, and they're going up by more than 10%. Here is GOP Rep Sherry Biggs explaining what their plan is.
Gotten so out of control.
By the way, and also new rule: anybody threatening to report falsely should be muted and blocked from the chat. We don't allow bitches in here. So if you are somebody who gets upset when people say mean words and then you report, then you got to leave. And also, you're MAGA, so shut the fuck up. You don't get to worry about mean words. Why you voted for Trump?
Healthcare, the cost has just gotten so out of control. But Congresswoman, do you foresee Congress maybe even stepping in before tomorrow's midnight deadline by any chance?
You know, we have been working really hard to make sure that we've got a good plan, and I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see a change for sure.
Oh, what's that change?
The Americans are going to be happy with the outcome.
Well,
President Trump is trying to make healthcare affordable and make sure that the citizens...
Are they allowed to go on TV without saying President Trump? And also, can we point out, it's Congress's job to put this out. Why is she even bringing up Trump? Have you guys forgotten how our branches of government work? It's their job to write legislation. Why are we talking about President Trump? How come every time one of these losers gets on TV and talks about healthcare, they don't give you a plan and they go, President Trump cares a lot about this, and then we never get a plan? Trump's been promising a plan for 11 years now. We still have no plan. But why do they always have to reference him?
Citizens come first, not the big healthcare insurance companies, not putting insurance ahead of our individuals and making sure that our citizens have the care that they need, whether it's rural health care, which is important in districts like mine, but to mothers, to children, to
rural health care, which was a provision added by Democrats that not all Republicans voted for and Republicans fought against. And then after it came out publicly that rural health care was going to be decimated, then and only then did Republicans agree to put in a slush fund that would cover for 3 years at $50 billion. So they cut rural health care, and then when their states got pissed at them, they just put a little Band-Aid over it. Still not their plan, still no plan here. Now she's talking about something that they voted on months ago, but not about a new plan.
everybody across the board, not just a small subset.
I guess.
There we go. This was interesting. You guys know who Tom Steyer is? He's running for governor in California. We haven't covered him much. I don't know a great deal about this guy. And we're going to talk about him in a second. We're going to go through his website, but I haven't been paying attention. This is a very, very wealthy person. This is a free market capitalist, Tom Steyer, who in the past has advocated reforms for our healthcare systems and saying that what we need to do is we have to keep it competitive and the markets will take care of itself. We just need to reform healthcare. We need to cut regulation. But we also need to protect people who get healthcare, and we can actually fix this system. Now he's saying this.
Bernie Sanders was right. We need single-payer healthcare. In 2019, I didn't think we needed single-payer healthcare. And I thought we could bend the curve of healthcare inflation by using more information technology, more private sector expertise, that these smarty pants from the business world would bring down the cost. Boy, was I wrong, and boy, was Bernie right. I've looked at the data. We don't have a choice. For us to provide healthcare to everybody who needs it, we've got to go to single payer. And there's no other way. God is going to be in the details here. Designing a system that works, that cuts out all of that expense and profit for middlemen supplying healthcare has got to happen. All the people making that money are going to fight us like crazy, but it doesn't matter. That's where we're going. Bernie, when you're right, you're right. Bernie Sanders.
He's right. This is the only debate I've ever had where nobody has ever left the debate saying, yeah, single payer is probably the way to go. It's the easiest one. If we weren't so heavily indoctrinated with ideology, we would just do single payer. Let's look at Tom Steyer, though. I want to look at his platform. This is what he's advocating for. As governor, Tom will make corporations pay their fair share and put that money into our public schools to make California a top 10 state for education. Good idea. You have the richest people in the country in California. They can pay a little bit more to help educate people. They get the benefits of living in California. They can help other people on their way up. Launch the largest effort in state history to build homes that California families can actually afford and break up the utility monopolies to lower electric bills by 25%. We've seen, just at the beginning of this, we saw what just some pressure from people running for office in San Francisco threatening to make PG&E a public service rather than a private company, and immediately PG&E dropped their rates. Welcome, everybody, from the Ash Raid. Appreciate you guys being here. Ban corporate PAC money from California elections so the government serves the people, not special interests. Do we have a problem with that, Republicans? Which part of this, Republicans, would you be upset with? Any part of that? Would you guys disagree with any of that? We get it. Block the word Somali, if maybe. We might have to do that. Guys, I'm going to get to the Somali stuff, but if you're going to be here, and I don't really care about views, I don't care about trolls, I have no problem deporting any of you, we do need you to stay on subject. You can talk about what we're talking about, or we're going to remove you. But you're not going to deflect all day long. I only want people who disagree with me here who are going to stay on topic. If you're not going to stay on topic, we got to get rid of you, okay? I know you're having big feelings right now. I know it's enraging right now. I know that you want to get all your bigotry out, but I'm not interested in like discussing this shit with bigots. So, mods, if we have people, when we talk about Minnesota, they are welcome to talk about Somalis. But while we're talking about other things, mute their comments for 5 minutes at a time, every single time they are off topic. And we are going to gentle parent you into learning how to be with other human beings. Okay, this is more of a classroom setting. All right. Anyways, I like Tom Steyer. Does he have an issues page here? I don't know who else is even running here, but I like Tom Steyer admitting that he was wrong, which is something politicians almost never do, and advocating for a system that would work, which is Medicare for all. All right. I loved this. Ron Johnson. Ron Johnson is kind of an interesting guy. If you've watched Ron Johnson this year, Ron Johnson has been like the go-to guy for conspiracy theories in the GOP. He's holding hearing after hearing running conspiracy theories. He was on with Wake Up America, and he's responding to an opinion article from the Wall Street Journal about the economic struggles under Trump. And he's going to explain now why it's actually good, why everything's actually going well, and why it's going to get better. And you'll be surprised to know that he doesn't give you any details.
People aren't feeling it. And so when do we get there, to the fact that Americans need to feel the economic progress that we're experiencing under President Trump and Republicans?
Well, I think we're all pleasantly surprised by the third quarter GDP numbers of 4.3%. The problem is that Democrats, Biden left so many enormous messes.
Oh, yeah, it's Biden's fault. It's just Biden's fault. There we go. How are we going to fix this? Is it good? It's good. It's just Biden's fault. But we're going to fact check some of this.
The open borders, the war.
Let's talk about open borders. You guys want to see a surprising check? Republicans, I think you're going to be surprised by this number. This is from CBP. If you look at border encounters, you'll see 2024. So this is 2024. After we had a global pandemic, after we decimated the economy of Venezuela, and we had a bunch of people from other countries coming into our country, most of them, all of the ones from Venezuela came here, with legal status, protected status. And that protected status was given to them by Donald Trump on his way out the door, who said, hey, we fucked things up so bad in Venezuela. There's a bunch of Venezuelans here, and they are not to be deported. They have protected status. And then they had that protected status for years. So if you're upset with Venezuelans being here, you can blame Donald Trump. But I want you to see the path that we were on before Trump took office. He took office here. That doesn't look like open borders to me. That looks like a problem being solved. Now, we also have these numbers, which, by the way, Trump tells you that there are 0 illegal border crossings. These are encounters. It's not 0. 28,000, 29,000, 29,000, 29,000, 25,000. 24,000, 26,000, 26,000. It's not 0. Right? So he is lying about that. But so is Ron Johnson. This was not open borders. It was never open borders. The border policy and our laws are set by Congress. The only person who could open the borders or close the borders would be Congress. So if you find yourself being a person that says Democrats supported and advocated for and presided over open borders, you just don't understand how our government works. You have to pass these laws in Congress, and they tried. Republicans and Democrats tried, and it would have shut down the border. We would have had lower numbers than this because the border would have been shut down for something like 6 straight months under the Langford bill. But Trump said, no, I want to run on this. I want to keep telling these dipshits that vote for me that this problem is all Biden's fault. And so I need these numbers to continue while I'm campaigning. And so we did. These numbers would have been down here, but we had to keep them here. And Biden did a decent job getting those numbers down. However, it was mostly due to the fact that the pandemic ended. That's mostly why these numbers came down. Now they're down because the pandemic is over and because nobody wants to come here anymore. Because we have a racist for a president. And people who come here even legally now are being stopped, harassed, demanded. We demand their documentation. They can't go to work without being harassed. They can't go in public without being harassed. They can't drive down the street without being harassed. So nobody's coming here anymore. You guys, the bigots won. You chased everybody out. Why did Chuck Schumer vote not Jay? Are you saying vote no, Hoodie? Yeah, Chuck Schumer is a dumb bitch. Generally speaking, if Chuck Schumer thinks something, I'm on the opposite side of that. Chuck Schumer's a fucking idiot. I don't know why he voted no. Why did he say he voted no? I'm not sure. But that's not surprising at all that Chuck Schumer would vote no on that bill. Chuck Schumer's an idiot. I have no problem criticizing Chuck Schumer. See, there we are, MAGA. Can we agree on that? Chuck Schumer's an idiot? All right. Let's keep going with Ron. So there's lie number 1. There was no open borders.
You know, the hangover from 40-year high inflation, which devalued our dollar from the dollar held in 2019 is only worth 80 cents. That doesn't go away. That's permanent devaluation.
Let's look at the value of the dollar since Trump took office and before. See here, this goes all the way to now. Trump took office, what was it, January 2024 here? Or 2025? The value of the dollar when he took office was, let's say right around here, $1.07. That's what it was trading on. And this is compared to other currencies, right? So this is compared to like global trading partners' currencies. So the value of the dollar was higher than 1-to-1. It was 107. We see it dip. It just starts dipping here all through Trump's presidency. It gets down below $1 now. Hovers back at around $1. Gets down below $1. Down below $1. Down below $1. Gets back to $1. And where are we now? Below $1. Trump is devaluing our currency. Trump took $1 that was at $1.07 comparatively, and now it's at $98 comparatively. It's gotten worse. He inherited a pretty good situation from Biden, and he made it worse. Why do your politicians lie to you about the data?
So it takes time to turn the situation around so people can feel it. People's real wages are increasing. But the good news is President Trump is focused on this.
True. And real wages were increasing before Trump took over, too.
He comes from the private sector. Everything he's doing it's the right thing. You know, reduce regulation, reduce taxation. How quickly that kicks in where people really feel it, I really can't predict that.
Yeah, because it's not working. It's not working. So instead of addressing, like, and this is the problem I have with American politics in general. If you see that it's not working and you go on TV and you lie to your constituents, and your constituents don't care, your constituents buy the lie and get mad at the fact checkers, I don't know what we do about that. I don't know. I don't know how we combat this with you Republicans. Republicans, did you see that data there? Patrick, did you see that data there? Are they lying? Are things getting better? It's good to see you here, buddy. All right. Look at this from CNBC this morning. I think it was this morning. Let me make sure the date's right. Yeah, from this morning. Here's CNBC talking about the state of our economy currently with Kevin Hassett.
Manufacturing jobs in November. That's 7 straight monthly declines.
What was that?
Do you expect?
What was that? Where did I get my data? I just showed you where I got my data. It was from the dollar value was from the Federal Reserve. The border crossings were from borderpatrol.gov. See what I mean? Did he just do the thing in real time? Who said that? Did you just do the thing in real time that we said you would do, Kenny? I just said that you guys would reject the data and get mad at me for presenting it. And then Kenny, right on cue, I'm mad at this man for presenting the data. I just showed you. We just showed it to you. That's crazy. This is one of the most alarming things about doing the job that I do is that every single day we say something, we predict how you'll react, you hear me predict how you'll react, and then you still do it. As if that's not a sign that you guys are just in a fucking cult. You literally did the thing that I just said you were going to do, Kenny. You want to believe Ron Johnson so bad that you just dismissed the data. Oh, fuck this guy. This is bullshit data. I believe Ron Johnson. Did Ron Johnson provide data for you? No, he didn't provide data for you, did he? I'm the only one that provided data. And you got mad at me instead of Ron Johnson. Why? Because I'm in a cult, and I don't like it when they say mean things about Donald Trump.
Manufacturing jobs in November. That's 7 straight monthly declines.
7 straight months of manufacturing declines. Great. Let's go, Brandon. Great. Now you have to address this or I have to get rid of you. Let's go, Brandon says stock market up. True. Every president presides over the highest stock market. Crossing stops. Not true. They haven't stopped. They're down. Gas down. True. Gas is always down in the winter, though. It goes down from the summer to the winter. GDP up. True. Now, manufacturing jobs, 7 straight months of decline. Right, Let's go, Brandon. These tariffs bring back manufacturing jobs, but we have 7 straight months of manufacturing job losses, right? Let's go, Brandon. What's up, Jen?
Okay. We've got, I think it's the same username on YouTube, Liquor Store Dinosaur. I haven't seen them in the YouTube chat, but they are waiting to.
All right. What are we talking about?
He didn't give me specifics, but he's waiting.
Okay. I'm just checking for Let's Go Brandon here. If Let's Go Brandon's going to be honest. Let's Go Brandon says AI dummy. Oh. So we are losing manufacturing jobs then, right? Because Trump said he was bringing back manufacturing jobs. So now that's where we're at. All right, let me play the rest of this video real quick, and then I'll get to the guest.
Do you expect that to reverse in 26?
Yeah, it's definitely what we're seeing is you saw the increase in construction. We've been tracking groundbreakings of all these factories that have come forward from both the trade deals, like the drug companies onshoring production for national security reasons. And we're up to around 30 groundbreakings since September. And all of those are going to create a lot of jobs moving into next year.
Okay. Jobs are coming, guys. Don't worry about the jobs we're losing now. Just keep believing in this administration that lies to you every day.
Hey, to read some of the comments and stuff before you get in the conversation.
Did you send me some? Look.
Oh, yeah, there's been a boatload.
Oh, okay. Axe says, thanks again, RTP and Jen. Thank you. Just a number said, thanks, RTP and Jen and Mods for the great shows this year. Well worth my time and donations. Thank you. Let's see. What is that? Is entering person. Sorry, I fucked that one up. What is the Discord link? I discussed these issues with you. Hopefully you got the Discord link. Mod, if you need the Discord link, anybody just message write in the comments that you need a Discord link, and one of the mods will get in touch with you. And then
Well,
get
I
you
mean, no. Let's. If you guys need a Discord link, send me a DM in Discord. It's it doesn't translate that well with YouTube and other stuff.
Okay. So message Jen Dub1 at on Discord. She'll get you the link.
Yeah, and then Ryan sent another message that I haven't screenshot to send it to you yet.
Okay. Radical Left Scum says, in a union, costs went up $9 a month. Deductible went down $2,400 a year. Company costs went up. Join a union. I can now afford using it. Medicare for all. That's cool that your union did. That's awesome. This guy Fox said, Happy New Year. May MAGAs find self-respect in 2026. I hope they do. Did I miss any here? I'll read Ryan's in a sec. Let me just check here real quick. Guys, I'll be a little less patient. And Ryan said, just because, thank you, with this picture that went along with it. That's beautiful. Trump somehow looks better with a Pinocchio nose. I don't know how he pulls that off, but he does. All right, let me hop into this chat real quick. There we go. Liquor store dinosaur. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear fine. What do you want me to call you? Oh shit! Now I can't hear you very well. Are you listening to the stream? Because there's like a 10-second delay.
Bob,
If you
can you hear me?
yeah,
Not really.
I can hear you. I'm just making sure you're listening through here and not the stream, because there'll be a delay if it's on stream. You're breaking up, man. You got.
My name is Shane.
Okay, Shane. What's on your mind?
Well, you wanted a Republican to call in. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Here. All right, I've turned off the stream,
Okay.
but I can't hear you on mine. Oh, there we go. All right.
Good now? Okay, cool.
I'm not used to this kind of delay, so my apologies.
No, that's all right. It shouldn't be a delay if it's through Discord. It should only be a delay on the stream.
Oh, well, I'm on Discord, I believe.
Okay.
And it's kind of a delay. Maybe let me try to reconnect. Oh, because I'm driving currently and I'm like 2 minutes from parking.
Did you turn Did you turn off the stream?
I did just maybe 30 seconds ago.
Okay, it does sound better now, if that helps.
All right.
What'd you want to talk about?
You know what, Rob? Let me try to call back and see if that'll fill the delay.
Sure. No worries. Just message Jen when you're.
I'll be parked in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, just message Jen when you're ready. No problem. We'll see it. All right, we'll move on here for a second. All right, I'm gonna let's see where we have here. All right. Here's something for any Republicans that are still here. For those who still think that Nick Shirley broke this story, this was run in January of this year, almost a full year ago. For anybody who thinks that Nick Shirley's the first one, this is CBS News, local news organization in Minnesota, and this was picked up and rebroadcast nationally. It's also covered by virtually CNN, MSNBC. I don't even Fox News. Everybody covered this story in January, but here's the story that broke in January of this year that now Nick Shirley's getting credit for. What I want you to notice is how much better researched and how much better sourced this is than what Nick Shirley did. You guys can't hear the sound? Uh-oh. How about now? Uh-oh. pause now, but none of you could hear the sound? Can you guys hear Jen? Some people say I can hear everything. Wait, what? So on YouTube, can you guys all hear it? I know the video I'm streaming is paused now, but before that, just try and reload it, I guess. That's not good. And you guys can't hear Jen either. Fuck. It's the Discord thing. I'm telling there's something up with Discord. Whenever I use Discord, it messes up. Let me move this around real quick. Go there. Go there. So you can only hear me. Tell me if you can hear the song. Okay, you guys all hear the song. What the fuck? All right, let's try this video one more time.
Recently pledged to crack down on fraud in state government programs after scandals questioned their oversight.
Let me know if you hear the video.
We got complaints about the Child Care Assistance Program and took a closer look at some of the daycare centers receiving millions of...
You guys hear it now? Okay, I don't know. I didn't change anything, but it's fixed. All right, here's the video.
Governor Tim Walz and state lawmakers recently pledged to crack down on fraud in state government programs after scandals questioned their oversight.
We got complaints about the Child Care Assistance Program and took a closer look at some of the daycare centers receiving millions of your taxpayer dollars. And we found reports of violations state investigators called a threat to the safety of children at centers that continued to receive those federal dollars.
Jay Cole spent months looking into these issues, and he joins us now with what he's found in a story you're seeing first on 5. Jay.
Yeah, Lindsay, CCAP is a $34 million state program that receives federal funding. It benefits more than 12,000 low-income families each month across the entire state. Learning of growing concerns about the program from sources at the Capitol, I started looking into some of the daycares receiving.
Where was their source? Did you guys hear that? Who tipped them off? The government. People in government tipped them off in January. Tim Walz, they quoted Tim Walz at the beginning of this saying that there is a growing problem. In fact, Tim Walz actually lobbied the legislature to get more control over this. Like, he wanted to be able to use his department to have oversight so they could streamline these investigations. And it was blocked by Republicans because Republicans wanted control of this story. So this was all brought to them by the government. It wasn't even hidden. It was never hidden.
The most money. Despite many serious safety violations over multiple years, they continue to receive funding. And now,
Dan, the mainstream media did follow through with it. You didn't see it because, and I mean this as respectfully as possible. Your party has tried to convince you that the mainstream media just lies all the time, so you don't watch it anymore. And that has created an echo chamber where the only things that get through to you are the things that they want you to pay attention to. So they are carefully manipulating your media, and that's why you all talk about the same things at the same time. This was by design. The mainstream media not only reported this, but they didn't get caught lying like Nick Shirley did. They reported on it accurately. It wasn't like this happened and it went away. If you Google and if you change the date ranges on Google and you type in Minnesota daycare fraud, you are going to find stories from every month, from every news organization this year. You are going to find thousands of stories from the mainstream media covering this, but you've all been told that you can't believe them. You don't know why you don't believe them. You've just been told not to believe them. And you've been told not to believe them based on stories that they also reported accurately. You still think that the Russian investigation was a hoax. Some of you are going to freak the fuck out right now when we say that the Russian investigation wasn't a hoax. And let me just lay out the facts. Trump's campaign manager and top national security advisor both pled guilty in that investigation. And multiple investigations by Republicans to expose it as fraudulent have gone fucking nowhere, including under this administration, where Trump has full control over the DOJ. They have gone in front of Republican-appointed judges to try and bring charges, and they're all being dismissed. And you still think it's a hoax. Why? Because Donald Trump convinced all of you that if he says it's a hoax, that it is a hoax, and that if anybody says the opposite of that, they are fake news, they are mainstream media, and you shouldn't listen to them. And now you find yourselves in a position where a 23-year-old kid who has lied and been caught lying about every investigation he's ever done, that person is more trustworthy to you than these folks who reported accurately. It has been a massive psyop in order to get you to only trust sources that are politically aligned with you. The news sources that you talk about that are on the right, that are trusted, Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, they've all been sued in the last 3 years, and they all got caught lying, and they all paid massive settlements. Every one of them. Did that happen to CNN? No. Did it happen to ABC? No. Did it happen to CBS? No. Did it happen to NBC? No. Did it happen to MSNBC? No. It didn't happen to any outlet on the left. It's only right-wingers who keep getting caught lying. They go to court, they lose every single time, and you still have the audacity to say these are the liars. And so you get what you deserve. A dumbass 23-year-old kid is now your source of information. And by the way, he didn't even expose anything. He went and knocked on doors, and he asked questions. He didn't provide any answers. Nick, well, I'll show you his lies, Pops. I appreciate you being here. Good to see you, man. I'll cover his lies here in a minute.
Now, some state lawmakers want an investigation into what they call a lack of oversight of the CCAP program. I started by visiting Quality Learning Center Daycare. So it is that 14B, which sits right in the heart of downtown Minneapolis. Between 2019 and 2023, the Minnesota Department of Human Services found 95 violations at this location. They range from failure to keep hazardous items away from children to no records for 16 children, which include things like immunizations, emergency contacts, and medical needs.
Did Nick cover any of this? Did Nick Shirley cover any of this stuff? It's all publicly available. Why didn't he source any of this stuff?
So state investigators placed Quality Learning Center on a conditional license in 2022. I went to the daycare's location several times, and only once did I...
Oh, Nick Shirley's the only one that went and knocked on doors and saw locked doors. Huh. He's the only one brave enough exposing this. CBS in January doing exactly what Nick Shirley did, but they're also citing sources, and they're also showing you the source and reading it to you and doing exactly what Nick Shirley did. Oh, I didn't see it because mainstream media. You're a year fucking late. Sorry.
Several times, and only once did I see people there. Oh, that's your daycare. But I did not see any children. So they're 80.
Well, first of all, nobody disagrees that there was fraud. To be clear for all the Republicans here, raise your hand if you believe that there is fraud in Minnesota and that it should be investigated and that it should that people who committed the fraud should pay whatever those penalties are, whether it be jail time or a fine, depending on what the law says. Just raise your hand if you think that one, fraud is happening, and two, that people should be investigated and prosecuted for it. Watch, MAGA. Watch how many hands are about to be raised. Your entire fucking narrative is a goddamn lie. We all want it prosecuted. I covered this story before Nick Shirley did. They covered it before Nick Shirley did. We've all been asking for these investigations. We've all been asking for prosecutions. 70 plus people have been prosecuted and found guilty. Tim Walz publicly has spoken about this before Tim Shirley. Publicly, he's addressed that there is a problem and that we need more oversight and that he needs more resources in order to investigate this. The Biden Department of Justice not only investigated this, but put people in jail for this. It's been going on for years. You're just hearing it for the first time, and you have to make up a story that we don't fucking care about this in order for you to accept why you're only believing Nick Shirley. There is fraud, and Nick Shirley lied. And I'm going to show you the lies that he told. Both of those things can be true, but me saying that Nick Shirley's a liar is not me saying they should do fraud and that I condone fraud. I'm pointing out that your journalists are fucking liars. And my biggest problem with Nick Shirley is he is making this about Somalis. It's obvious that he's targeting only certain groups of people who commit fraud. He's not going after fraud. Like, did Nick Shirley ever mention that the ringleader of the biggest fraud that they uncovered was a white lady? Did any of you see that in Nick Shirley's investigation? That the ringleader was a white lady? No, he just talked about Somalis. And what was the coverage when people repurposed Nick Shirley's reporting and Elon Musk amplified the fuck out of it? What was it? Oh, Somalis, we have to deport them. Deport them now. They're citizens. Well, we don't care. Deport them anyways. Okay, should we deport the white people then that did the fraud too? And if we should deport the white people who committed fraud, then should we also deport Rick Scott? Why did Trump just pardon somebody that defrauded our government for $1.3 billion in the exact same thing, doing a Medicare fraud? Should he be deported? If you say yes, I need to also know why Trump is pardoning people who are committing bigger fraud than these people. Oh, because they're white? Okay, if it's not because they're white, what reason is it? That's my problem. Nick Shirley is only going after Somali immigrants who are committing fraud, and he's not expanding that. That's incredibly dishonest. We're doing it the right way. Nick Shirley is doing it the racist way, and a lot of you seem to prefer the racist way.
No.
After school? Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you. DHS declined an interview, but in a statement acknowledged Quality Learning Center was put on a conditional license.
What was the date here again? I don't know what date this was. It's in January, so that could be either Trump or Biden's DHS, not sure.
Because of its poor safety record, but it still received nearly $8 million in taxpayers' money since 2019. Its conditional status removed in 2024. I also went to yet another facility, the Minnesota Child Care Center in this South Minneapolis building.
No. I have the clear picture of fraud. I am reporting on fraud. Nick Shirley's the one that doesn't have the clear picture of fraud. What did Nick Shirley expose? He knocked on doors and he claimed that there weren't children in those buildings. That's one of the lies that he told. Are you going to apologize when you find out that at least one of the buildings that he knocked on and reported there were no children in that building? They have now confirmed by showing security footage that there were children in the building at that time. They just didn't let a random fucking stranger with his friends and cameras into their building. But yeah, it's me. It's me. I'm the problem. Not the guy that's only going after Somalis.
I found it at the end of this small hallway with a steel door, no windows, and no visible security cameras.
Isn't this what Nick Shirley did?
State records show between 2021 and 2023, the daycare had 36 violations, some of them serious. They failed to request initial background checks on 6 staff in 2023 and failed to request repeat background checks on 8 staff in 2024. Ultimately, the state would accept corrective documentation on these violations.
Wasn't anybody here last time either.
I visited several times, and each time, no.
Did the white lady ship money overseas? You mean, was she laundering money overseas? I don't know, but did Trump pardon people for money laundering? Did Trump pardon people who were laundering money to terrorist organizations? Was CZ convicted for money laundering and taking money out of the United States and laundering it into terrorist organizations? Yep. Did he get a pardon from Trump? Yep.
Apparent sign of any workers. and each time, no apparent sign of any children.
Do you think there's anybody there?
Since 2018, Minnesota Child Care Center, however, received $11.5 million in CCAP money. I asked DHS why daycare centers could still receive millions.
Weird. I wonder where Nick Shirley got his numbers. You know those printouts that he had? Would you be surprised to know that the printouts that he had were from this investigation that was done a year ago, that was put on TV, that none of you saw because you don't believe in the mainstream media? Would you be surprised to know that he just took all of their research, repurposed it, acted it back out, and then added his own racist like tones to it? No, Nick Shirley's an American hero.
Of dollars with questionable safety records over multiple years. In a statement, DHS said under state law, they can only stop payment, quote, when a provider intentionally gives false information or submits false attendance records. A provider is operating after a...
Bud, I've heard you say I did nothing about 1,000 times. We're going to have to mute you if you keep spamming the chat. We get it, bud. Nobody paid attention the first time. You got my attention now. I did nothing. We get it, bud. I did nothing.
Suspension or revocation of its license, there's a credible allegation of fraud and or a provider refuses access to attendance records.
What does that say to you?
It says that the oversight is incredibly lacking.
I shared our findings with House Speaker designate Lisa Damon.
Are we keeping...
Oh, then they took their findings to the government. By the way, do you know who gave all this information to Nick Shirley? She did. She did. The RNC orchestrated this whole thing. Republicans in Minnesota, in an election year, took an investigation that is this CBS or ABC? CBS, I think. CBS, you can see in real time. They're giving her this information, and then she took this information and gave it to Nick Shirley, and Nick Shirley repurposed it all, and then Elon Musk pushed it out there on his platform. And you all think Nick Shirley did something? They did it. They gave it to her. She took it, gave it to Nick Shirley. It's ABC? Thank you. It's ABC. That's what I was wondering. This looked like the ABC logo right here, but it's blurry. That's what I thought.
Kids in Minnesota safe. And what you're showing me here brings that very much into question. You know, Jay, you have pages here.
No. We all paid attention the first time. Jay Trust? Raise your hand if you have heard me talk about the fraud in Minnesota for at least the last 2 months. For at least the last 2 months. Have we not covered the story? Raise your hand if you've heard us cover it. You guys just didn't know. I knew. This audience knew. We all knew about it long before you did. I understand that you guys are upset right now and that you are emotionally driven. But like the fact that you guys were too fucking stupid to know that this was a story, like, and now you show up months later, almost a year later, and you're like, you guys never talked about this. If you watched me, then you would have known we talked about this. If you watched mainstream media, you would have known about this. But your reliance on propaganda media from Twitter is why you don't fucking know anything. It's like it's the biggest like armchair quarterbacking. We've all watched this play out. We've covered these stories. No, we're the real heroes. We're the real heroes showing up now. You guys didn't talk about this. We did. We all did. You didn't know. So the fact that you're all saying that we didn't know this, like, is there any part of you that realizes at all? Is there any part of you that realizes that you live in an echo chamber? That you didn't know any of this shit? Somehow you have created a cocoon around yourself where they only show you what they want to show you and when they want to show it to you. You have no curiosity. You are all just led. It's just a little carrot, and you all just follow along. None of you have been here for the last couple months. For the record, there's actually a couple of Republicans in here. I think Larry was one of them. Larry, if you're here, they've been talking about it. You had Republicans that knew about this. You just didn't know about it. I've had Republicans in here talking, like in the chat for the last couple months, talking about this while we were covering it. But no, it's the mainstream media that's the problem, not you dipshits who are a year fucking late on this story, coming in now with a moral high ground.
That are publicly available with repeated...
Yeah, Pops, you knew. See, Pops, you know. Pops is as right-wing as we get if you're on TikTok. Pops knew. Why does Pops know? Because Pops reads stories. Because Pops, I don't know, Pops, if you're too old to use Twitter. I don't know if there's an age on that. But why did Pops know? Because Pops actually is one of those Republicans who will go out and read a story. Some of you Republicans knew this. And Pops, did Nick Shirley give us, be honest, did Nick Shirley tell you anything you didn't already know? Did Nick Shirley break anything new?
Failure to keep hazardous items away from children, failure to maintain adequate staff to child.
Actually, Larry, Pops, you guys are here. Did Nick Shirley break anything that we hadn't already covered?
Ratios, background checks, failing to keep personnel files. These are repeated violations.
As I was looking into the daycare center violations, I also found a connection between CCAP and the Feeding Our Future scam, which bilked $250 million from the state. In 2020...
Yes, Nick Shirley did create a whole new narrative on an already obvious story. Yeah, good point, Cassie. That's the problem we have with Nick, is that he added like this anti-immigrant racist spin onto it.
A man named Abdikadir Kadaya was charged with stealing $1 million in taxpayer money in the Feeding Our Future case. He's waiting to be sentenced after pleading guilty to wire fraud. But we also learned Kadaya also operated Intisar Child Care Center in Minneapolis. The facility received $1.8 million in taxpayer funds between 2017 and 21.
Yeah, there you go, Tom. You see, this is what you're doing. You're adding a new narrative. Dems were not just committing fraud. They were building a voting block to keep the fraud going. Do you have evidence of that? No, you absolutely don't. That's another thing that you were told this morning and yesterday by your algorithm, and now you're just regurgitating it. Do you know Texas and Florida benefit more from having immigration, even illegal immigration in their state? They're overrepresented because they have the level of illegal immigrants in their state. Did you know that? Yeah, but we don't talk about that, right? So they don't do it, but only blue states that get more representation. They're the only ones that are a problem.
But the license was revoked and Kadaya's daycare was shut down. He has not been named or charged with any crimes connected to CCAP, however. Now, I've been asking for weeks why Kadaya's license was revoked. Late tonight, DHS sent over this 86-page document explaining why. Some of the more serious reasons include violations directly related to the health and safety of children and providing false and misleading information to DHS. DHS also,
nice to see conservatives in favor of the government regulating. Yeah, that's true.
Told me they have 62 active CCAP investigations for family child care and child care centers. And as far as the 2 daycare centers in our story are concerned, I reached out by phone to the names and numbers listed as the licensed operators, and I've not yet heard back. So some new information that there are now 62 active investigations into that program.
Yeah, 62 active investigations in January. It's hundreds now. Leanne said, thank you both for all your hard work this year. Thank you, Leanne. And Jen, thank you for the party hat, I assume, for New Year's Eve tonight. Let me update this goal real quick. And just a word from our sponsor. Like, nobody's as soft
Not a real
as a
sponsor.
conservative. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Those conservative men are soft as shit. That's why every time you go to a conservative podcast, it's like, and now to our sponsor, Blue Chew. Your dick can work again. You don't have to scream at women when your dick doesn't work. This'll fix it. There we go. All right, now let's talk about the lies Nick Shirley told. Here's one. Here is the son and employee of, first of all, this is a glaring mistake. It is crazy that they put up a sign that said Quality Luring Center and they never fixed that. And if I was sending my kid to a daycare that was named Quality Leering Center, I would probably not send my kid to that daycare anymore. I think that in and of itself is a good example of like a red flag. What's up, Jen?
We have someone different coming to talk to you that's waiting.
All right, let me get through this stuff with Nick Shirley. It's going to take like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Get through this. Anyways, let him explain what happened the day Nick Shirley showed up.
What would you say to Nick Shirley, the YouTuber, if he was standing in front of you
I have
right
nothing
now?
against him himself, but I do have something against the rhetoric. It's if you're going to be a journalist, just have a moral compass. Like, do what you do correctly. If you catch business that are fraud, no one here is with that. Or we don't support that as a community. I don't support that myself. I was born and raised here. I'm not for
Born and raised, by the way. Republicans are openly calling for this person to be deported who is born and raised. Any of you that were born and raised in America, he was too. Can't deport somebody who's born and raised here.
fraud. Like the notion that, hey, a certain batch of somebody got caught, so all of them support it, it's like, no. No one, if in any community, any mishaps that happen, the rest of the community obviously doesn't want that to happen. It's a stain on all of our names, as you guys can see. We don't want that to happen. We don't take part in that. We don't like that. We don't want that in our communities. But just to say, hey, a certain company got caught, so they must all do it, and I feel like that's what he's doing, I'm not a fan of that.
2 to 10 p.m. may not be your typical daycare hours, so can you explain why it is that you operate during these hours? The reason for that is we're after school hours. So most of our clients, not most of our clients, all of our clients is after school hours. So schools, earliest dismissal would be 2:15 to 2:30ish, and the latest dismissal would be up to like 4:30ish, 4:40ish. So that's when our kids come to us. We don't have anyone in the morning.
Okay, so Nick Shirley was there, I think at like 10:30 in the morning. They open at 2. So when he said there were no people there, and that's evidence of fraud, that's not true, right? By the way, this sign on the door that he wouldn't show us showed the hours of operation. So when Nick Shirley said this place, Quality Leering Center, is committing fraud because there's no children here, and he omitted the sign on the door that gave the hours of operation. Was it 11? Okay, thank you. I thought it was 10:30. 11. Yeah, I'll have Nick in a second. He'll tell you. But was that honest? Larry, is that honest by Nick Shirley? Republicans, is that honest by Nick Shirley? If Nick Shirley doesn't let you know that this daycare center opens at 2 and he's there at 11 a.m. and he sells you on there's no children here, so it must be fraud, is that honest reporting? No, I'm not stupid. I'm asking you a question. Oh, it is honest reporting. Yeah. Thank you, Pops. I appreciate you being honest.
We deal with only parents and clients that come to us after school. So that's why ours are 2 to 10 p.m. If we try to do, once again, I'd like to conclude, the YouTuber that was making the claims, you were here earlier today. I came here at 1 o'clock. You were here. Where are you now? You claim we're closed. You claim we're a fraud. Where are you? Why are you not?
Why isn't he there? Why did he come back at 1 o'clock before they were opened again? Why is he not here right now?
Why are you not here right now? It's like,
where are the kids when it's closed? At school or at home? Do you know what a daycare center is? Do you know what a daycare center is? Maybe you're joking. I hope so, Dope Crew. I hope you're joking. I might be misinterpreting your tone.
You're trying to put out a certain message about a certain group. I'm not going to make that claim. I don't want to make that claim without me knowing him personally, but that's what it seems like he's doing from his front. Where are you right now? He was here earlier. He was recording us. We had no issue with it. We told him, hey, just get off our property. You can record. Now he's not here.
Somebody said still yet to see one kid. Yeah, you can't go film kids, you fucking psychos. Why would we be showing kids? Don't show kids at daycare. You can't go record kids at fucking daycare. So now when Nick Shirley gets caught not telling the truth, now you want pictures of kids. That's how sick you guys have become. Yeah, it's not investigating. All right, Jen. Who do we have here? Just a reminder, guys, we're crowdfunding. We almost have that gift goal knocked out. If we do the dollar train during this debate, we can knock that out. Hop down here. It was Isendring. Is that what do you want me to call you?
Isandring.
Isandring? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Isandring.
Isandring. Okay, cool. What's on your mind?
You were talking about earlier, I mean, we've kind of moved past a little bit now, but
sure.
Trying to figure out technology has been really annoying.
I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it.
So well, it's like, message on Discord. And I'm like, but I'm not in your Discord server. How do I find it? It's in the pinned comments. I don't see pinned comments. Anyway, so there was a couple of things like you were talking about earlier, fraud. Mm-hmm. And I guess we're technically kind of still on fraud. Mm-hmm. And yes, I knew that about the the daycare fraud issue. It had been reported in the past, and nobody seemed to care or do anything about it at the time. And now suddenly it's a big story. I mean, it had been reported, and yet in all of the circles, I had never even heard, because I do pay attention to quite a lot of news. I own and operate my own semi-truck. So I have all day, every day to listen to podcasts, listen to news, and that's about all I do. That interspersed with whenever I get weirdly interested in the topic, I buy an audiobook on it and listen about it.
Okay, so when you said like nothing was done, you mean like people weren't obsessing over it, but obviously people were being investigated, people were being arrested, people were being sent to jail. Okay, cool.
But we never heard about any of those things, or at least from my experience of when they were going through this. This wasn't plastered all over the news like it is now.
Yeah,
it's like I can hardly go to any kind of news outlet that is even slightly considered conservative-ish, or has a right-leaning bent. They didn't cover any of this. I never heard any of this.
Why do you think that was?
And because I think that they were focused on too many other issues that gained them better points. Gain them better followers. I hate to say followers, listeners. Because ultimately a lot of these places are driven by money, and they need money. And if you're just talking about some fraud case in a random state, especially when there's an opposition in power, they don't. They're much more concerned about covering all the things like Biden bad.
Yeah.
So that's probably why. And then suddenly this blows up, and I start listening about it, going, because that's a pretty significant chunk of money that's being defrauded from the government, and it's like, why is this now news? It's like, this is kind of old news, and now suddenly it's being plastered everywhere. Now I saw about it, and at least some of the news that I'm watching, they pointed out that, hey, this isn't new. This has happened before. There has been investigations into this before. And my first thought is then why is this still happening? But the fact that they just started, and then you were like, well, it seems like Republicans, I am not a Republican, but it seems like Republicans only care about it now, or only selectively care about fraud. I don't selectively care about fraud, but you brought up, it's like, what was it, 700 million or 700 billion in outstanding income taxes that haven't been collected every year?
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that got my attention, because I'm like, I've heard a bunch of the stuff about the Somali fraud issue. And I'm like, but wait a minute, that's a difference in kind. It's like, do I care about fraud? Yes, I care about fraud. I don't care who commits the fraud. I don't care if they're white. I don't care if they're Somali. I don't care. I care about, having a nation of actual laws, and that those laws are constitutional and actually followed.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
but there's a difference in kind between, failing to pay taxes and defrauding the government of taxpayer money that has been paid, or borrowed money, usually.
What's the difference to you?
The fact that the difference is that anybody who's paying income taxes, they went out, they earned that money. That is their money. Now, it's a law that they're required to pay a portion of that in income taxes. I don't agree with that. I don't like
well, it's not their,
what was it, the 16th Amendment.
But it's not their money.
It's unlawful.
But it's not their money.
It's unlawful.
But it's not their money.
But it is. But it is their money.
No, it's not there. It doesn't have their. That's why you can't burn it. It's not. Nobody. We don't own our money. You don't own your money. It's not yours. It's a tool that you can use to pay for things.
Okay, it's an interesting take on money.
No, it's just true.
Well, I guess currency.
Yeah, what does it say on the currency?
It says Federal Reserve note.
Okay, why can't you burn it?
I guess technically it is illegal to deface currency.
Is it illegal
Although
to burn?
I don't
is it
know.
illegal to burn your actual property, the stuff that you do own?
It could be.
It's not, right? If I want to burn, this shirt, I can burn it.
If I want to burn my house down, I am going to get charged for that.
Why?
Like I said, there's way too many. There's way too many. Well, because it poses a significant danger to those around you. I mean, there's certain instances where trying to destroy your own property can be illegal, but I get the point that you're trying to make, that your property you can destroy as you fit, as long as you're not endangering somebody else.
Yeah, either way, what we're talking about is money that's supposed to be in circulation for a purpose, and money that is owed to certain people and designated for certain people. I don't see why like tax fraud is any different than this type of fraud. I think that what we have an issue with here is that historically in America, and especially on the conservative right, we're very quick to demonize poor people and immigrants, and we are very slow to demonize rich people.
I quasi agree with that.
I mean,
or I agree with that. I should say I agree with that with some caveats. I don't think that the right necessarily lauds rich people. They recognize the services and the capital that they bring to bear in the economy. I'm not entirely. They are also demonized, but I would say.
Some guy just
unfairly sometimes unfairly.
Yeah, but somebody just got pardoned for a $1.3 billion Medicare fraud, and Trump pardoned him. And I can't get a single conservative in this audience to care. In fact, they all say, "Oh, it's totally."
Oh,
different.
I care about that. He absolutely should not have been pardoned.
Okay, so
that is
doesn't
outrageous.
That kind of show that conservatives do laud rich people?
In and of itself, no.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
I don't believe that shows that they're like I said, the recognition of the economic opportunities that wealthy people bring, because I have never been employed by a poor person that's living paycheck to paycheck. So there is absolutely economic good that wealthy individuals bring to the economy.
And there's
jobs. They create,
and there's also economic bad, and there's economic good
that
poor people bring to the economy. And I would argue, like, I don't know what, like, the economic bad that you might say is that people who are poor rely on government subsidies. That's an indictment on the system itself, that people can work full-time jobs and can't afford to live. And that's it. If you just trace the money, why can't they afford to live? Because rich people aren't paying them enough, because rich people are hoarding that money.
I think that's an oversimplification.
Okay, well let's take like Walmart for example. Why don't people that work at Walmart make a living wage?
I dislike the term living wage because that is a nebulous term that can mean so many different things. Okay, please.
Okay, so it's something like 60-something% of people that work for Walmart qualify for government assistance, meaning that we have decided that the wage that they make is not sufficient for them to live in whatever our standard is. Why is that? Is it because Walmart can't afford to pay them? Or is it because Walmart chooses not to pay them enough?
A bit of a false dichotomy. I don't think that it's either of those things. Obviously, let me rephrase.
Could Walmart pay them more?
No, I said let me rephrase. Walmart chooses not to pay them that because that is what the market will bear for the labor that they're offering.
Yeah, and why does the market bear that? Because Walmart created a monopoly and undercut all these like mom and pop type grocery stores where they can't operate on the same margins that Walmart operates on, and Walmart can operate on these thin margins because they don't pay people enough, and they know that the government will step in and bail them out by giving their employees SNAP benefits. And so Walmart has taken. I mean, if that's not fraud, I don't know what is. Like Walmart's costing us more money than these people in Minnesota. Where's the outrage
Probably.
towards? And that's what the point.
Because it's baked
rich.
in.
Because they're rich.
Yeah,
that's why there's no
I don't
outrage.
think that it's. I'm not convinced that it's just because they're rich. Walmart has created one hell of a net positive. Well, I don't want to say net positive. They have created a positive in most communities, and that you can go get just about anything at Walmart. They're convenently located. They're easy to get to.
They have communities. Like I grew up in a small.
Right, but they don't. That's what we call a diverse harm. This is one of the issues. Overall, I like capitalism. I think it's the best system we've ever. I'm sorry. I'm going to butcher the saying. It's the worst system that we've ever devised, except every other. So I'm very much a supporter of actual capitalism. I do not like cronyism. I do not like corporatism. And in the United States, we have a healthy dose of both of those things. However, there is
the outrage.
Downside. There is a downside to capitalism, and that's when reward is concentrated in a very small area, the leadership of the corporation of Walmart, and harms are distributed widely to where no single person is harmed enough that you can get an actual population, a populace uprising saying this is bad, we're all going to come together and stop this, because the people could stop this. The citizens could stop Walmart.
I agree with you. But the problem is that we have citizens who want to focus on this story. Corporatism and crony capitalism is a far bigger issue than this stuff that's happening in Minnesota, and yet
I agree with that.
Okay, well, this is where the problem is for me, is that this administration, this is an authoritarian administration. There's never been a more pro-crony capitalist administration in my life. They are handing out billions of dollars in gifts to the richest people in this country, and the people that voted for this administration are pointing at poor people and saying, how dare you commit a crime? And when I point out that the president is pardoning people who are committing these crimes, these crony capitalists and these corporatists, I can't get them to fucking care, because all they want to do, and it seems, and that's why I'm left to assume, none of these people that are in my chat, none of these Republicans here are talking about Medicare fraud in red states or in red towns or in red counties. They're going specifically to populations where there are immigrants of black and brown people, and that's all they want to talk about. And they get very upset with me when I point out that this is a very small problem in the scheme of in the grand scheme of things. That's where I don't know where we really go from here from these Republicans, because they are getting absolutely kicked in the dick by corporatism and crony capitalism. But when they see some, black and brown immigrants, they're like, that's the real problem. Did I lose you? Did we lose you there? Still in the chat, but I don't.
For a second there, yes.
Right, you're back.
Yeah. Sorry that I'm in a rural area, which normally doesn't have issues. I'm at home in Washington. Don't normally have issues, and for some reason they're like, this guy wants to go on a rant, and we don't want to let you hear what he has to say, so you can respond. And I'm like, no,
no worries, you're good.
I do feel your frustration in trying to get people to care about things that matter, and then they fixate on. I don't want to say that the Somali defrauding of the government in Minnesota doesn't matter, because I think it does, but as a proportion of the amount of money that's flying around in the federal government, you're right, it's a drop in the bucket. It is a fairly insignificant story, yet it has all of the hallmarks of everything that a conservative would be upset about. And
that
point out to people
it's fraud and it's black and brown immigrants.
Hey, there's a lot of other very bad things going on, and a lot of very bad things that the government is doing that it shouldn't be doing, and I don't see a way out of it.
Maybe
policy power, etc., in the government.
Yeah, but sure, the way out of it is to stop. For example, for somebody like yourself, you should never vote for a Republican.
I have not voted for a Republican ever.
Okay, and do you vote?
I have also not voted for the Democratic Party either. I've always voted for the Libertarian Party. I realize that people are like, hey, you're just throwing your vote away
what are the
by doing that,
doing
because they're not particularly a viable power.
What are the Libertarians doing about this?
I actually even voted for I voted for him, and now I suddenly forgot his name.
Chase Oliver.
He was a minor candidate. He dropped out. Why can I not remember? It was in the first Trump race. Not
Rand
No,
Paul?
I actually voted for the Libertarian. So I voted for Gary
Johnson?
Johnson, and then what's her name? I'm going to draw a blank on her name too.
I did too, but I think this is my point.
Kind of made a splash and then disappeared, and I don't remember her name.
I hear what you're saying, but this is my point. Libertarians.
No.
Libertarians
The actual. I voted for Gary Johnson, and then the second one.
Hold on. I understand what you're saying, but what are Libertarians doing about this?
What's his name?
Hold on, brother. It doesn't matter. What are libertarians doing about this?
They're not doing a whole hell of a lot of anything.
So why are you voting for them?
They're saying get out of here, and it's a bit annoying because in Washington State, the year I voted for Gary Johnson, first Trump election, 2016, we actually crossed the threshold in Washington to be considered a major political party. Until
hold on.
I
think we have
because I'm voting for them.
I think we have a little delay. I think that's what's probably causing the problem. So it feels like why not vote for people who are going to advocate to change this? If it's not libertarians, is it just like you just have an aversion to vote? Because, by the way, I was a Republican, then I was a libertarian. Now I'm unaffiliated. I can't stand Democrats. But it's really easy for me to look at candidates and say, like, can I vote for people? Can I vote for people who want to change this? Yes, I have options every time I go to a ballot for a Democrat who wants to change the system. I don't have that option with libertarians. I don't have that option with Republicans. And I think that's where the problem lies, is that Republicanism, libertarianism have become two parties that just complain about shit, but they don't fix anything. And every time Republicans get in power, they just give more money to the rich people. Libertarians never get in power because they advocate for things that are just never going to happen and can't happen. Libertarianism like abolishes government in a nutshell. So we can't get libertarians to side with people on ending fraud. I don't understand why libertarians aren't like working together with Bernie Sanders and AOC. You're far closer to their beliefs than you would be to Donald Trump or to any of these Republicans, to Rand Paul, to even Ron Paul. You're much closer to my beliefs, and I'm pretty far left than you are to anybody else's. Why can't we get you guys to vote for farther left candidates? Did we lose you? All right. I'm gonna hop off. Come back anytime. Let's see if we can get that connection fixed. I don't know what to tell you. No, he's still here. I think it's just a connection issue. I'm gonna get back to the story. You're welcome to come back a different day. We'll do that. That's what I want to ask though, libertarians. If there's libertarians in here, I think libertarians do a better job of being honest about what the problems are in front of us. But the one part I can't figure out is why they won't coalesce with people that share at least some of their ideology. There's no real connection between libertarians and the Republican Party. The ideologies don't mesh there. I learned that very quickly, and that's how I wound up on the left. Is because I was like, libertarianism is kind of like this fun little dream. But the stuff that I cared about, when I talk about freedom, when you talk about like the ability for the government to stay out of like your personal life, that is on the far left. That's not on the right. So, anyways, let's get back to Nick Shirley. Now, here's Nick Shirley got interviewed by CNN, and if you ever needed to know whether or not Nick Shirley's just kind of a dummy, it'll be exposed here. By the way, this is Nick Shirley and his crew. This is one thing Nick Shirley doesn't show you. This is Nick, and I don't know who this old man running around with him is. They're wearing their Quality Leering Center. They also have a crew of masked people. Their camera crew and their protection is a group of masked people. So when Nick Shirley shows himself knocking on the door and saying, "Let me in," what he's not showing is this group of masked men behind him. They're like, "Let us in to look at children." I can't believe they're not letting us in to look at your children. Yeah, I wouldn't either.
We're from CNN. Can we talk to you? This is MAGA YouTuber Nick Shirley. Back at a daycare in Minnesota, he alleged was a fraudulent facility in a now viral video.
People are going to say this is a left or right issue, but no, fraud is fraud. And so I'm not out here trying to put a twist on things.
Shirley's viral video released over the weekend in which he says he's uncovering tens of millions of dollars in...
You guys, and this is, I want to point this out too. You said there were no children. You don't fucking know that, Tom. He didn't go inside. You are believing a dipshit kid. You can't say that there were no children. And by the way, I'm going to show you that there were children. But you just believed him. He was out fucking side, dude. How could there be no how do you know that there's no children in that building? He was fucking outside. Do you know how buildings work? If you're outside, you're not in the building. You want to believe this. So you choose to believe it. You're lazy, Tom. I'm a parent and I know how things work, except for apparently how fucking buildings work, Tom. I'm also a parent and my child goes to school. And if Nick Shirley showed up at my child's school and asked to be let in, they would tell him to go fuck himself. He wouldn't be let in. They have the same thing. He would ring that bell. There's a camera on his face and they would say, no, you're not going to come in. You can't come in. You have no right to be here. We're not going to let you come videotape people's kids. Tom, do you want some just stranger and masked men walking into where your child is and videotaping them? I'm a parent. I don't give a fuck if masked men walk into my kid's school. The information on how to enroll is on the website, Tom. Go to the websites. He even shows you. He's like, I got the number off the website. If you go to their website, it tells you how to enroll. You don't walk in and enroll. They don't do that. That's not how they do enrollment there. That's not how they did enrollment with my kid's school. I didn't go in and enroll them. I went online to her school and I enrolled her. And once she was enrolled and approved, then I could go in. After I went through, I have to have my face scanned every time. I have to go into an office. There's a locked door. I have to go through a whole process to even see my own daughter. Just go on the website. This is desperation, Tom. You are desperate to believe this guy. Why? Because you love the thought of taking black and brown immigrants and deporting them. It's probably the only way you get your dick hard, Tom. But what you don't seem to understand is how buildings work.
Fraud at Minneapolis daycares run by the Somali community was retweeted by Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. In the video,
imagine being so pathetic that you think I'm defending this fraud. This is how soft and thin-skinned and pussified all you MAGA bitches are. And I'm going to get pissed again. Because nobody here, not one person has said that this fraud is okay. We're not defending it. You're taking criticism of a shitty journalist and you're like, that means that you like fraud. No, that just shows that you don't critically think about anything. As long as somebody is saying something that you like, any criticism of that person is now criticism of the fraud. He lied. He's a bitch. You're a bitch. You're all bitches. You are all thin-skinned, pussified bitches. The right has cocooned themselves so much that every time I get on a live with you fuckers, it's like, you killed Charlie Kirk. You have all adopted the victimhood of everybody. You are nothing but whiny bitches looking for an excuse to be whiny bitches. I don't know how many more fucking times we have to say this. This is fraud. It should be investigated. It is being investigated. Everybody who commits fraud should go to jail. But Nick Shirley lied. Yeah, he's saying that you should let him get away with fraud. If you're too fucking stupid to follow this, I get it. That's probably why you voted for Donald Trump in the first place. But Jesus fucking Christ. Fraud, bad. Arrest people who do fraud. Some of these people did fraud. Nick Shirley lied. All of those things are true. Criticizing Nick Shirley doesn't mean that I think people should be allowed to get away with fraud. And if you're too fucking stupid to understand that, I don't know, maybe you should be in one of these facilities. Maybe you need somebody to watch over you every single day. And by the way, when you get into that facility, I hope that they have locked doors and people don't come in and film you.
Shirley tries to open locked doors and talk to people at various daycares he claims are frauds.
Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
I came at 11.
What are they normal operating hours? Dipshit Republicans? Tom Brewer, fucking dipshit. What are their normal operating hours? 2 to 10. When did he get there? 11 o'clock. I don't know why there's no kids there. There's no kids there? 3 hours before they open? Oh, fuck, it must be fraud. That's how fucking dumb you are. No, Tom, not 8 to 8, 2 to 10. Good fucking Lord, I just showed you the video. I swear to God, you guys, you can't retain new information. I've said it, we showed it. 2 to 10 are their operating hours. He was there at 11. Yeah, there should have been kids there 3 hours early. They explained, school gets out at 2:15. We don't have any kids here during school because it's a daycare. We are an after-school daycare. Our operating hours are 2 to 10. This dipshit goes there at 11. We point out that he's there at 11, and that's why there's no kids. And then your dumb brains go, you're defending fraud. I don't know what to do with how fucking stupid MAGA has become, and it's willful. We've told you this a million times. He's admitting it right now. He's admitting that he was there when there shouldn't be children there, and you're mad at me.
AM, I believe, and that also came the following day, later in the day. The point of it is not
at 1 o'clock. He came at 1 o'clock the following day. Is 1 o'clock now? I don't know if you guys know about clocks and about how hours work, but is 1 o'clock before or after 2 o'clock? It's before. So he came 2 days in a row while they were closed and then concluded, there's no kids here. It must be fraud. And you dumb motherfuckers who just want to believe it because your dumb motherfuckers go, yeah, that's fraud. You got him. Thank God for Nick Shirley. He's a patriot. No, like, I don't know why you think that patriots are just people who lie to you so that you can be upset about shit that didn't even fucking happen. But here's an example. Now, did Nick Shirley expose any fraud from this particular center? No. If Nick Shirley was a real journalist, Nick Shirley would have told you that this exact location has had, I think it's like 13 different times in the last year and a half that the state has come and inspected them. And they've been given warnings. Simple things like not having warranty information available for their furniture. Like there has to be a warranty on the furniture. And they didn't have that. So they got cited for not properly maintaining paperwork. They've had a bunch of infractions, mostly paperwork stuff. None of it about abusing kids. But Nick Shirley didn't tell you any of that. I told you that. And yet you're going to think when you leave here, Nick Shirley's the good journalist. I'm the shitty journalist. He lies to you nonstop. And you dumb motherfuckers are so stuck in your cult that when you are confronted with the truth, your brains shut down and you start yelling at me.
Not whether or not I came at the right time of their operation hours. The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you any information. You call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside.
No one answered their phone outside of hours and their door was locked outside of hours and they have a blacked out door at a daycare. That's not evidence of fraud. That's evidence of it being closed and them not wanting people to look inside of a daycare, which is exactly what I would want if my kid was in a daycare. I am mad. Stupidity infuriates me, especially like willful stupidity. It makes me very mad. And if you dumb bitches weren't such dumb bitches, I wouldn't be so mad.
There should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
But surely you don't think a daycare should just be unlocked. You shouldn't be able to just walk into a
There
daycare.
should be a reception.
No, every daycare is locked.
There should be a reception. Now that's what he's saying? Now he's mad that there wasn't a receptionist after hours?
And so, okay, you bring up a fair point. Then why can't they actually give me information how to enroll a child?
It's on the website. It's on the website. You were on the website. You got their phone number from the website. They did give you that information. You're mad that they won't let you in after hours when nobody's there? This is his argument. They're closed, nobody's here, and they didn't answer the phone when they were closed, so why can't they give me any information on how to enroll? Because they're not fucking there. There's no humans there. There's nobody to talk to. That's why they can't give you information, you fucking dipshit. That's why. How the fuck is a non-existent person going to tell you how to enroll in a daycare? How the fuck is a non-existent person going to answer a phone call? How?
Law enforcement has been investigating fraud in Minnesota for several years. Both Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel said on social media they've indicted dozens of defendants. DHS has posted multiple...
Dozens, okay. So if they've indicted dozens... They're like maybe 20. There's been 70 plus people arrested already. Most of it under the Biden administration. You guys probably don't know this, but did you know that most of this stuff has been uncovered by the Biden administration? Yeah, he's mad that they have security measures. Why can't I come in and videotape your kids with my masked men? And then you got MAGA in the chat like, I can't believe this host is upset. I can't believe that he's upset that we believe this dumb motherfucker. There it is again. Why are you defending the scammers? We're not. Fraud, bad. Everybody who committed it, fraud should be arrested. He didn't expose any fraud. He exposed that a business was closed. That's not fraud. You're allowed to close your business. That's fine.
Videos of agents they say are conducting a massive fraud investigation.
Do you think that federal law enforcement...
Now let me ask you this. Can somebody explain to me how Homeland Security has any authority to investigate Medicare fraud? Where do they get that authority? Is that the role of Homeland Security? We don't care. We don't care. We don't care about government overreach and massive surveillance states. As long as it's done to black and brown people, we don't care. Guy Fox says, MAGA never got over Walsh's correctly calling them weird. They are weird. Thank you, Marianne, for the super chat. Ashkan Abedian said, Elon Musk is not defending this reporter. He's defending his money. He knows if Republicans lose, we're going to hold him accountable. He doesn't believe the crap he's spreading. 100% facts. The reason that you all know about this is because Elon and all these other right-wingers who control your algorithm force-fed this to you. B87 said, funny how the protect the children and we're scared of flags in schools suddenly want strangers in face masks taking pictures of young children. Yeah. Who's a danger to young children? Men. Well, what if we just put masks on them? Then it's not dangerous. Casca says, does this help, Jen? Happy New Year's, everyone. RTP, keep the truth flowing, brother. It gives me hope for starting my own fact-based vlog to help everyone speak the truth in 2026. Look forward to seeing that. Send it to me when you got it up and running. Lisa said, happy New Year, all. Soli rocks. Great job, Soli. And I get that one from Rory. Rory said, choo-choo. I got those here. Jay Hara, thanks for joining the Dollar Train. I appreciate you, my friend. All right, keep going with Nick here.
Hasn't done enough. I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they
yeah, Antifa and Democratic protesters weren't trying to go into daycares. I don't have a problem with masks. I have a problem with masked men going into daycares to videotape children. We don't care about that. We only don't like masks if they don't like fascism. Anti-fascists scare us, but masked men going into daycares is fine.
I've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, you know, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children? They're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
He didn't uncover any fraud. Let's be clear on what he did. He went to daycares. He didn't go into any of those daycares. He didn't prove that there weren't children in any of those daycares. Some of them were closed. And then he showed you receipts of how much money they have gotten in a year, or actually over the lifetime of how long they've been open. We think that that's fraud? If you came to my business and it was closed, and let's say my business was, let's just say I had a daycare. If you come to my business and it's closed, or you come to my business and I don't let you in, and then you go out in front and you show the government gave RTP daycare over the course of the last 10 years, $7 million. Is that evidence of fraud? Is that what you guys think evidence is now? That's not evidence of anything. Those are just details. I'm grasping by not claiming fraud. Got it.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true?
Yeah.
Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
So you don't know. Whoops. How do you know it's true?
True. Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
Oh, fucking case closed then. He can't even tell you why it's true. Because he didn't give you any evidence of fraud. He just knocked on doors and said, here's how much money these people have given. There must be no kids. For the record, real fraud has been exposed. He didn't expose any of it. Real fraud has actually been exposed and prosecuted. He didn't expose any of it.
Come in so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video.
Oh, fuck. Looks like their phone numbers work. That's weird.
Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new photo...
Look at him. CNN. Ha, 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 ha. I don't trust CNN, but I trust Nick Shirley.
From the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
We have talked about fraud. We have gotten stories. We've tried to push this forward every way that we can.
At the daycare where Shirley...
Okay, so Republicans have been pushing for this. They've gone on the news. They've gone on news. They push legislation. Why is it then, MAGA, that you didn't know any of this? If Republicans can't get the message out, what does it say about your party that the only way you find out something that they've been trying to expose is if they bring in a 23-year-old YouTuber and then Elon pushes it out? What does that say about how shitty the ecosystem you live in is? I knew about it. Republicans have been desperately trying to get you to pay attention. It took a 23-year-old dipshit for you to know. What does that say about your party? They had to call him in, take ABC's reporting, take the actual printed out papers that ABC gave them, give it to Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley went on YouTube, and that was the only way you found it. Why? Because they have told you not to listen to anybody who says anything negative about Donald Trump, and almost everybody says negative stuff about Donald Trump because he's a fucking scammer and a liar and a fraudster. And so you've just tuned out everybody who doesn't tell you what you want to hear. And that's why we're in a position where a 23-year-old YouTuber who has done like 5 investigations total in his life and has been caught lying in every single one of them is now your source of truth, and you get very upset when people point out that he lies.
Back up. A stream of children walk inside.
Oh, what? Uh-oh. Is this the Leering Center where there's no children? What's that?
Saying that this is a fraudulent daycare. There's kids being dropped off right now.
Yes.
Right in front of him, kids being dropped off during business hours. The day before, he was there outside of business hours, no kids. Now he's here during business hours, kids.
The Commissioner of Children literally said a week ago this place was closed.
Did you know
They're
that?
showing face right now.
A viral video.
So now what they do, they just paid kids to come in now? Is that now the claim? Now he gets caught. He shows the only time he's been there during office hours, there's kids showing up, and he goes, well, I was right, and so this must be fake.
Disputed claims and their full fallout remains to be seen.
Whitney, you mentioned in your story that there were dozens of convictions going back to 2022. Can you explain what those convictions established?
Well, this was really the beginning of this massive fraud case that has now led to more than 50.
So why didn't you know that Whitney Wild, who's been investigating this for 2 years, why didn't you know that she's been investigating it? Because CNN is fake news. Do you see how easy it is to turn you guys into fucking dipshits? To turn you into just zombies that repeat whatever you're told to repeat? For 2 years, she's been reporting on it. Why'd you miss it? Oh, we don't watch CNN. ABC did an investigation earlier this year. I showed it to you. And Nick is using their reporting.
More than 50 convictions, 56 people at least convicted as of September of this year, Jim. At least 78 people have been indicted in that case. It was this sprawling investigation that, DOJ has really touted as their effort to try to root out what is a fraud problem here in Minnesota, Jim.
How many of those reports make the actual? We're watching the news. What? Although, is this what you? Maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying. This is the news. The ABC, that was the news. It's been reported by literally every news organization.
Of course, that many of them did begin a number of years ago. Whitney Wild, good to have you there. Thanks very much.
Do you live in Minnesota? You're paying the taxes? I pay taxes. I've paid a lot of taxes in my life. I've been a 1%er before. Not a 1%er. Top tax bracket, not 1%, 20%. I've paid more than 50%. I wrote a check for more than 50% of my income multiple years. And I've paid a shit ton of taxes. I don't want them wasting taxpayer money in either. I have the same outrage for this that I have about Trump pardoning people who do Medicare fraud. I'm just as mad at the people who have scammed Medicare in Minnesota as I am with Rick Scott. But the difference is I would never vote for Rick Scott, and I would never vote for any of these scammers. But you guys will vote for scammers as long as they suck Donald Trump's dick. And you're like, yeah, he's MAGA. I don't care if he's a scammer. I just don't like fraud. You guys only don't like fraud in certain instances. I'm against all fraud. You're against fraud perpetrated by immigrants or people you perceive to be on the left. That's the difference between me and you. You're in a cult. I'm not. When Democrats commit fraud, in fact, there is a prominent Democrat. What's that guy's name? Henry Cuellar. For you Republicans who don't know, there's a Democratic representative named Henry Cuellar, and he was laundering money and taking bribes. And an investigation was opened into him by the Biden Department of Justice. And he was found guilty of fraud by the Biden Department of Justice as a Democrat. And Democrats uniformly said, get him out of office. And then Donald Trump pardoned him. Why did Donald Trump pardon him? Because he agreed with Donald Trump's border policy. And Donald Trump thought he could flip him to Republican. So Trump pardoned him, and then Henry Cuellar came out and said, I am going to run for office again, but I'm running as a Democrat. And then Trump got mad at him. Good point. What about Brett Favre? Brett Favre just spoke at the RNC convention. He's spoke at the RNC convention multiple times. Brett Favre took Medicare money and through corrupt Republicans in Mississippi, convinced them to take money, taxpayer money for poor people, and pump it into his daughter's facility. And you can read the message. He's like, nobody's going to find out we're doing this, right? You'll keep this out of the media, right? No problem there. Donald Trump has forgiven billions of dollars in fraud through pardons this year, and I'm against that, just like I'm against this. And if you're not against that, but you're against this, then you are the hypocrites. There's a big difference between us and you. You think the law only applies. By the way, Donald Trump was convicted of fraud. It was cheap. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair that he was convicted of fraud. How many more fraudsters? And by the way, they're only talking about this story that's years old. The only reason you guys are talking about it is because Elon and Donald Trump and all these people that are in the Epstein files that own all of these social media platforms funneled it to you. They hand-delivered it to you. They generated this outrage from you so that you won't talk about the fact that they are actively covering up the Epstein files. Actively. They are hiding that Donald Trump and his friends were helping Jeffrey Epstein traffic children. That's why you want to talk about this. I don't think any of you have any real principles. And I also want to say something broadly to everybody that's here. I spoke to a friend about this the other day, and I actually spoke to my daughter's mom. We were talking about this yesterday. And I brought up like the defense of this. And what she said is, she said, like, most of her friends are MAGA. Where we live, everybody's MAGA. And she said, I actually haven't seen a single one of my friends talk about this Nick Shirley thing. It's like, I have no idea. And in fact, some of them are bringing up the Epstein stuff. The people that were like MAGA because they believed Trump, but not like cult MAGA, they've abandoned him. It's why you guys are losing every election. Yesterday in Iowa, a district that Kamala Harris won by 17 points, the person running, the first black person ever elected to state Congress in Iowa, I think, or black woman elected to state Congress in Iowa, she won by like 60 points. Every contested election since Donald Trump won, Democrats have won. And they're winning in massive numbers. And it started day one. You should have seen this coming day one. Not enough people are going to care about this. You guys think that enough people are going to care about this, that it's going to change the midterms for you, but people don't fucking care about this when the economy is in shambles. All these even like Midwestern red states, they didn't like that Trump tried to take away women's access to health care. And so they all voted to protect abortion. The only places that didn't protect abortion are the deep red states that said, we're not going to let our people vote because we know that they'll vote to protect abortion. So we're going to bypass the will of the people and we are going to put in new laws. You're losing on every issue. It may seem to me and to us that are here every day, it may seem like MAGA is getting more crazy, and that's true. But what we're seeing is the gasping of desperation. This is what the end of every cult looks like. This is what it looked like when the Branch Davidians were falling apart. This is what is happening in Scientology right now. This is what happens when every cult falls apart. These people here, you know, everybody here knows that the people that speak in this chat don't speak like this publicly. I'm guessing they don't go out publicly. But they know that if they go out in front, if a group of random strangers, they can't say this shit because everybody will think that they're fucking crazy. And if we had a group of 100 people and it was me and it was Nick Shirley and we both got to plead our case, 99 would be on my side. And they know that because my side is all fraud is bad. My side is also we shouldn't let random masked men go in and film our children. My side is also, if you're going to accuse somebody of fraud, you need more than videotaping their business outside of business hours and then showing me how much money they've been given. Because that's not evidence of fraud. You have to show me how that money was wasted. And by the way, when you get into the evidence of fraud, of these actual investigations, what you'll see is that you'll see, for example, I was looking at one this morning, and you'll see that they were, one of the things that Nick says is like, they can have 99 people. Now, they're not funded for 99 people. That's the total amount that they can have. That's their maximum capacity. And what they found in a lot of these fraud cases is that somebody would bill, they'd say we had 41 kids. And then they would go in and they would go check the records, and they only had 30 kids that day. So they were overbilling the government by like 11 kids or 17 kids or 20 kids. And we have real cases on all of these. You can go and you can look at these documents yourself. There's real fraud happening, but Nick's not exposing any of it. He's just saying dumb shit. I'm doing real research. I'm giving you real facts. This is a real problem. It should be fixed. It also happens in every state. I literally Googled every single state yesterday. There has been Medicare child care fraud in all 50 states this year, reported by mainstream media in every single state. This is a problem across the board. The reason that they want you to focus on this is because they want you afraid of immigrants, and they want you afraid of Tim Walz. And they want you to think that Tim Walz, who, if you could be critical of Tim Walz, and I will be, and I'll be critical of Minnesota in general, that oftentimes liberal and progressive people, sometimes we extend goodwill and we don't have enough protection. And so people take advantage of our goodwill. That's true. What Republicans would have you, these Christian conservatives would have you believe, is that if you extend goodwill and people take advantage of it, that's actually worse than treating people poorly. Right? If you give handouts to Elon Musk and Nvidia and Walmart, if you give them a bunch of money because they're going to trickle that down, and then 60% of Walmart employees get SNAP benefits, the Republicans don't fucking care about that. They don't care at all. Why? They worship money. They're not real Christians. It's all fake Christianity. And they have, and it's just you guys. It's just like the MAGA base. Regular conservative Christians aren't on board with this. I don't know if Pops is still here, but for all the battles Pops and I have gone back and forth with, let me tell you something about Pops. He's honest. He gets things wrong. And he and I disagree on things. But when he goes and researches something like this, and he finds out that Nick Shirley's lying, there is fraud, but Nick Shirley's lying, he just admits it. And I truly believe that that is most conservatives. MAGA, no. Conservatives, yes. What we have in the chat today, and if just think about it, like what kind of human being would sit through this and scream at a streamer for fact-checking Nick? Nobody should be upset about fact-checking. This is just the death throes of the MAGA cult. The dumbest of the dumb. All right, going. Here's what I mean. Now, remember how upset people have got when I say that MAGA is making this about race, and they're like, you're the one making it about race. Look at what Benny Johnson said here. Here's how Benny Johnson is framing this.
So here's what we've learned the last couple of days as American taxpayers, that you and I, who were born in this country, whose parents and grandparents built this country, fought in our wars, created our economy.
Excuse me. The people that Nick Shirley went to, the Leering Daycare Center, they fit this. They're born here. Go back.
You and I, who were born in this country, whose parents and grandparents built this country, fought in our wars, created our economy, we get to work our entire lives, our finger to the bone, break our backs, pay taxes, 50%.
This guy has never worked his finger to the bone. He's worked a finger in a closet at BuzzFeed, from what I understand. He takes money from Russians to do propaganda. This is the division. This is the us versus them. These people are taking. Not Benny. Not Benny. He's not taking. It's the immigrants.
Of our income goes directly to the government. Then we're taxed on everything that we spend, property taxes, and so on.
And so are all of these business owners in Minnesota, because you can't own one of these businesses without being a citizen. So all of these business owners are also paying taxes. They're also paying sales tax. Are you guys unaware of this? Are you unaware that every single one of these people who owns a business is a citizen? Because you can't own one of these businesses without being a citizen. Many of them were born here. There's a number floating around. I didn't check it. I just saw it this morning from a bunch of Republicans saying, like, I think it's like 67% of the Somali community is on, it has some sort of government assistance. I know that we've actually covered this before. I just don't know if that number is exactly correct. But like 78% of those people are working full time. So what's that indicative of? That these Somalis come into Minnesota and into our country and they work full time and they don't make enough money. So they still have to get subsidies. Are there probably Somali immigrants or people who were born here who are Somali who are cheating the system? Almost certainly. Just like there's immigrants from South Africa or Canada that abuse the system. Just like some of your white families abuse the system. There people abuse the system. If we only care when it is black and brown people, we're left to just assume that it's racist. How could it not be racist? Someone explain it to me. Can you give me an example of any time that Republicans have pointed to white communities? In fact, what's the one where the killing, eating the cats, eating the dogs? That was in, remind me what city that was in. Can somebody remind me what city that was in where they claimed they were eating the pets? No, fraud isn't racism. But if your coverage is only coverage of black and brown people, you are racist. Let's try this one more time, please, for the love of God. Springfield, thank you. I just want to help, please, Republicans. Fraud is bad. If you only care about fraud when it's black and brown people, that is racist. The fraud they are committing is not racist. Your coverage of it is racist. Springfield, Ohio. They interviewed during all this time. They interviewed business owners in Springfield, Ohio. And what these business owners said is that we had a bunch of people here in Springfield, Ohio. We had people here that could fill the jobs, but they were lazy. They didn't want to do the work. You had a very high percentage of a very white community who were on government assistance and who were not working. And they said, like, we kept hiring people, nobody would stick. And so, by the way, the reason that Somalis are here in this country is because they were being decimated. They were going to be murdered. And so as an act of compassion, the United States made a legal process for Somalis to come here. And keep in mind, this is a country where the education system was virtually non-existent. The medical system, virtually non-existent. And so they came here essentially like as adults, but with a elementary school education. So of course there was going to be a learning curve. Of course they had to catch up. They didn't speak English. It wasn't their fault. These aren't people, to be clear, that just immigrated here. These aren't people that like came here seeking necessarily a different life and had an education. These were people who were being murdered, and we were compassionate and we let them come. But what in Springfield, Ohio, what they realized is there were all these groups of Somalis in this country, and they wanted to work, and they were having a hard time finding work. So in Springfield, they invited the Somalis to come into their community, and it saved these businesses. And these businesses didn't shut down because they brought in Somali immigrants. And then the lazy white people who wouldn't work started getting upset. And they started blaming Somali immigrants. And one of the things that it exposed is some of these Somali immigrants who were working still didn't make enough money to pay their bills, and they qualified for government assistance. And then when they audited Springfield, Ohio, because you saw a sudden increase in government assistance, what they realized is, oh, most of the people getting government assistance, most of these new people that are getting government assistance are working. But these people who have been on government assistance for decades claiming they can't find a job, Haitians, not Somalis, thank you, Haitians. Most of these Haitians that are here that can't get a job or that are working, they're getting government assistance because they don't make enough. But these other people who've been here for decades, they're not working. There were jobs available, and they're getting government assistance. So the white people in that community got their benefits slashed because when they audited it, they realized that the Haitian immigrants were actually working, that they actually fit the criteria, and the people scamming the system were the white folks. And then the Trump administration came in and they said, these Haitians are ruining this community. The Haitians are destroying this community. They can't drive. They're on government assistance. They exposed the lazy white folks in Springfield, Ohio. Sorry, I know some of you guys are on a delay. I've been saying Somalis, and I meant it should have been Haitians. I appreciate that. But they became the problem. J.D. Vance started lying. They're eating people's pets. That turned out to be a lie. They based that story on one lady who said, I lost my cat. I looked over my next door neighbor. They had clearly barbecued and eaten my cat because I could see the bones. The bones turned out to be a rotisserie chicken, and she found her cat later that week locked in her basement. But that's all it took for J.D. Vance and all of you Republicans to go out there and repeat the claim that they were eating the pets. Because that's the level of evidence it takes for MAGA Republicans. And the reason that that level of evidence is so low for you, racism, right? Because there's no amount of evidence that can convince you that Donald Trump committed crimes even when he goes to court and there's evidence against him. That's not good enough. But a story from a lady that was untrue was enough for you guys to believe that Haitian immigrants were eating people's pets. This all eventually works out. People aren't willing to be stupid their entire lives. And the more we talk about this and the more we expose this, one by one, we pick off honest Republicans. One by one. What I can tell you is I don't think this is gaining ground. I don't know anybody from the left who is hearing this story or any moderate Democrat who's hearing this story and going, you know what, they're making some good points. But let's get back to Benny Johnson being racist.
So many taxes, you're ending up paying tens of thousands of dollars of taxes per year. That's millions of dollars of taxes for your life, many millions. And at the end of it, when you're all said and done, all those taxes go to the Quality Leering Center.
This is called propaganda. This is textbook propaganda. You guys work hard. You pay taxes. You're the good white Americans. And all of your money goes to the Quality Leering Center, who we now know is not under investigation and is not a fraud. Their sign's fraudulent. They actually do have kids. Without any evidence at all, one of the largest voices on the right is doing open racism and trying to tell you, like, he's lying. Right? Obviously, all your money doesn't go to Quality Leering Center. And you might say, it's the point he's making. Why can't he make the point without lying? Why can't he make this point without lying? We did prove it already. We already proved it. We already showed you the video of the kids at the Quality Leering Center. Can you guys tell Aaron, what crime, what fraud? Because remember, if you make the claim, Nick Shirley says this is a fraudulent business. His evidence was that there were no kids there and that they get money. That's not evidence of fraud. It turns out that there are kids there. So now his only evidence that they are fraudulent is that they don't answer their phone outside of business hours and that they get money. That's not fraud. That's every company ever. Any company that gets government money that doesn't answer their phone after business hours now is fraudulent. Again, it doesn't take, you guys don't need facts to believe something. It's all just a narrative. You like what Benny said. Oh yeah, I am hardworking. Oh yeah, it is unfair. The reason I'm struggling is probably these motherfucking immigrants.
Here, a Somali-run fraudulent business that has collected $8 million in federal handouts for a fake Somali business run by people who hate you.
Run by American citizens who were born and raised here. And he specifically said in the interview, I don't mind that Nick Shirley's asking questions. I'm happy to answer his questions. I don't know why he won't come here during business hours. I like that people are looking at this. He said fraud should be exposed. There are other businesses who are committing fraud. We're on board with this. Please investigate our business. Why do I have to be honest, but none of your people do? This is such a sick place that we're in. People like Benny Johnson have always existed, but Benny Johnson didn't used to be like this. Why is Benny Johnson doing this now? Because racists love it. Gets him clicks, gets him attention. But he's clearly not telling the truth here.
People that should not be in this country.
Okay, Rachel, I'm going to try one more time. Rachel, if you are honest, let's try this. Rachel says there wasn't any kids in the damn daycare. He went by twice that day, and it wasn't just one daycare. He went to many daycares that are receiving millions of dollars. Let's talk about this daycare specifically, Rachel, because this is the one that Benny Johnson is talking about. So we're only talking about this one. He didn't go twice in one day. He went once at 11 o'clock in the morning. The business doesn't open until 2 o'clock. So he was there 3 hours early. The second day, he went at 1 o'clock, which is still an hour before the business is open. So he didn't see kids on those 2 days. The third day, he went there again during business hours, and there were kids. So the only time he was there when kids should have been there, kids were there. And you are going to say that this is fraud.
People that don't want to be American, they don't speak English. They're just here to...
Did that guy speak English? Did every person who spoke to Nick Shirley in his videos, every person he spoke to spoke English? So is this another lie by Benny Johnson?
Literally commit fraud and to steal.
No, Bruce, I'm going to say that until somebody proves to me that it's not a legitimate daycare, then I'm going to assume it's a legitimate daycare. You have provided no evidence. Bruce, what's your evidence that it's not a legitimate daycare? That the sign is spelled wrong? Because there's obviously kids there. It's obviously a business. It's open from 2 to 10. Looks like people are going there. What's your evidence?
Steal your entire life's work. Everything that you've committed to the Treasury, everything that you have paid in taxes, everything that's been taken and stolen from your family, your opportunity, your capacity to invest, all of it was funneled to the Quality Leering Center.
This is fucking insane. Republicans, how are you not outraged at this? What makes me think people are going there? Because I saw a video of people going there, Bruce. All right, Bruce. You're going to get banned if you don't admit that I'm right here after I show you this video. We have to go back. And anybody who denies that kids went here after we watch this, it's the wrong one. You are banned forever. Fuck, why is that? Where is it? This one. All right.
Is MAGA YouTuber Nick Shirley back at a daycare in Minnesota?
We go back here. This is the Quality Leering Center. Here's Nick Shirley. Fast forward to where they show the kids coming in. Did I go past it? Nick Shirley even admits that there's kids here. Right? I think it's this part.
Hasn't done enough. I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, you know, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children, they're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Let's see where that part is. Where's the part with the kids? Right here. Sorry.
We've tried to push this every way that we can.
At the day,
I tried to push this forward every way that we can.
At the daycare where Shirley showed back up, a stream of children walk inside.
You're saying that this is a fraudulent.
That's how I'm sure that there's kids. Because I just saw it. Who was it that said that? What was their name? Who was it? Do you guys remember the name of the person who said that? Is it Bruce? Bruce. All right, Bruce. Apologize. You have 2 seconds, Bruce. I know that there's kids there because there's kids there. No, this was the next day, Bruce. 5 seconds to apologize, Bruce. And MAGA, you're going to see in real time, like, that you guys just don't address reality. When reality confronts you, you won't admit it.
Daycare, there's kids being dropped off right now.
Yes, the Commissioner of Children literally said a week ago this place was closed.
Did you know
They're
that?
showing face right now.
A viral video.
Bruce? All right, guys, if Bruce doesn't apologize, get rid of him. Oh, shit, I got to go back to Benny Johnson. Well, let's go back to Benny Johnson. I'm sick of you fucking racist
American taxpayers.
Losers, honestly.
Steal your entire life's work, everything that you've committed to.
Okay, Bruce is banned forever. Bruce, go fuck yourself. This is evidence. Bruce will believe a kid, Nick Shirley, without evidence. Nick Shirley provided no evidence. There's only evidence that there's kids that go there, and Bruce has decided that that evidence isn't enough for him. He wants to keep believing something that a little dipshit kid said. Later, Bruce.
To the Treasury, everything that you.
I'm not dragging race into it. Benny Johnson is.
You have paid in taxes, everything that's been taken and stolen from your family, your opportunity, your capacity to invest, all of it was funneled to the Quality Leering Center. They don't even have the dignity and respect to spell learning correctly. All of it went to this.
Ironically, just so we clear, they don't have the dignity or respect to spell correctly. We go up here. You were born here. Your grandparents, with no T there, built this country. You work your entire life, 68 hours a week, weekends, holidays, fingers to their THR bone for 50 straight years. Yeah. He didn't have the dignity or respect to spell things correctly.
Yes. How does that make you feel as a taxpayer? How does that make you feel?
Fine.
I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
This is a black pill. This makes you think that the system is so rigged and so broken and that we're suckers for being part
I agree. Type people make mistakes when they spell things wrong. I do that too. Yeah, but he says that if you spell something incorrectly, you don't have the dignity or respect. So I'm just holding him to his standard. That's not my standard.
Of it. This is the biggest problem for the Trump administration right now.
That is a good point, too. We didn't show that part of the interview. And whoever, like, if you've ever ordered a sign, you don't make your own sign. The sign maker, they said, just spelled it wrong, and they're waiting on a replacement sign.
This is an existential crisis. How can you have a government built on lies and fraud?
That's a good fucking question, Benny. How can you have a government where the president is literally a convicted fraudster and they're openly doing fraud? They're money laundering for drug cartels and terrorist organizations right in front of us. How can you have a country built on that? I don't know, Benny.
How can you have people continue to think that
Hey, that's ironic, Chaz. Benny is a stud. This RTP clown chugs dongs. I have no problem with people who chug dongs, but Benny Johnson is actually the one that there's multiple accounts of him hooking up with dudes in closets when he worked at BuzzFeed. There's a story of him his wife at TPUSA crying in the lobby of a hotel because she caught Benny with another man. And when Benny has challenged this, the people making the accusation say, sue us. We'd love to get discovery. We would love for you to sue us. And he won't sue them. So ironically, the homophobia is cool, I guess, for you. I have no problem with it. Chugging dong seems like a fun thing to do if you're into that. But ironically, the thing that you're doing right now is accusing me of being gay, but Benny is pretty well known to be closeted.
Government works for them. It's not going to go on forever. Action needs to be taken right now against the Equality Leering Center to ensure and to promise Americans that our life's work of paying into the system won't be stolen by some Somali who hates us.
Yeah, but again, Benny, you dumb fucking bitch. Donald Trump just pardoned a guy that did $1.3 billion worth of Medicare fraud. That was stolen from us too. Why didn't Benny go outside in his neighborhood and get all angry about that? Because he was a white guy and it was Trump. Why is Benny mad about this? Why is he talking about things like your family, your life's work? Because he's a fucking racist. And I wish that some of you had like any guts at all to just admit that you're racist, just to admit that this stuff only bothers you when it's black and brown people, but we'll just keep harping on it. If he wasn't racist, he would talk about the other fraud. If he wasn't racist, he would talk about the ringleader who got caught being a white woman. But he doesn't talk about that. A white woman who was born in this country, whose grandparents built this country. She spoke English. She didn't come from another country. But he didn't bring that up, did he? No, because he wants you guys mad at immigrants.
That's the question. That's the question.
That's a good point. Ashes
What's
says,
the
it'd be
answer?
so cool with me if my life's work went to safe after-school care and education for kids. Yeah. Heaven forbid. What time is it? 1 o'clock? Read some comments here. We'll go a little late today. I guess I was late, so we have at least a half hour. Electric Dad said, I went and knocked on my bank's door, and they're closed. They committed fraud. Did they answer the phone when you called after hours? That's the real test. Do they answer the phone when they're not near their phone? Carrie Me said, Happy New Year. Thank you, Jay Hara. Thanks for joining the Dollar Train. I don't know where we're at on the gift goal. If you guys want to do a Dollar Train grid, I think we're pretty close to knocking it out. All right. I just want to show this. Now we've got dipshit copycats. There's a bunch of people who see what Nick Shirley did, and now they're doing like these staged exact same shit, like they're going to daycares. Now we just have like young white dudes with a camera going to daycare and daycares all over this country and doing the same shit Nick Shirley's doing. I don't even know who the fuck is this guy. I don't know what his name is. Surge Philly. I don't know who this is.
The Maternity Care Coalition is a nonprofit that got $23 million from the government to run daycares like this. So it is 2 p.m. This place is supposed to be open. It closes at around 4:30. We're going to try and buzz one more time to see if anybody opens up.
Now, once again, if they don't open up, is that fraud? If you see somebody with a microphone and a camera and you're running this daycare, do you have any obligation to talk to them?
Looking for childcare. Okay, so nobody's going to open. Okay, another entrance. Gonna knock again. Again, it's 2 p.m.
Yeah,
so
I'm using their screen to make fun of them, Jessica. You've already shown who you are. I understand. Fraud and lying doesn't bother. You're upset at me for exposing that these guys are fraudsters. By the way, they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Nick Shirley is. The millions of views that he got for lying is going to pay him handsomely.
within operating hours, this place should be open. Little Frank needs childcare. Hello?
Yeah. So now if you run a daycare, you're going to have a bunch of like mediocre, dipshit white kids showing up with cameras going, open the door and let me in. And if you don't, then they're going to claim that you're committing fraud. So that's pretty cool. Is this fraud? This probably isn't fraud, right?
For
Watch this. Watch how programmed. This is from MS Now, and at least 10 people are going to say, "Oh, MSNBC." They're going to discredit this because of the logo. Even though I've said that, let's test it out. They're still going to say it.
Chris Hayes. Throughout the year, Donald Trump's idea of law and order has been to prosecute his perceived political enemies on dubious corruption charges while using armed, mass federal agents to abduct migrants from American streets. But the administration's point man for that mass deportation campaign, border czar Tom Homan, is caught up in an alleged corruption scandal of his own.
Immediately, they did NFC, but it's supposed to. Is this fraud? Shows NFC West standings. Not cool, Bowsy.
Whose existence was first reported by MS Now. And tonight we have more exclusive reporting that during Donald Trump's transition to power, some of his people.
He didn't have a kid, Kimmy. They have a camera. They could see him. He said, "I want to make an appointment with my kid." He didn't have a kid. And he had masked men with cameras behind him. You make appointments online. You don't go in and make the appointment. I looked at the website. You can go look at the website yourself. Jesus Christ, the lengths you guys will go.
Knew Homan was accused of serious political corruption, and they hired him anyway.
Just a reminder, Tom Homan got $50,000 from the government in a bribe for an investigation. $50,000 he stole from you, from us, the Americans. Trump's not doing a thing about it. He still has his job, and they won't even investigate him now.
Back in September, MS Now was the first to report Homan's alleged involvement in a $1 million scheme to award contracts to cronies in exchange for kickbacks. As part of an FBI sting investigation into that scheme, federal agents recorded Homan accepting $50,000.
No, Rachel, we need to talk about, it's not about recognizing both sides are corrupt. It's about when there is corruption, we talk about that story and we focus on that story. And we don't worry about partisanship. That's what we need to realize. We need to realize that it's not about both sides. It's about corruption. And if somebody is corrupt, you call it out. So, in good faith, Rachel, there is corruption in Minnesota in the daycare program, and it should be prosecuted. This is also corruption. This should also be prosecuted.
$1,000 in cash and a paper bag from an undercover agent last year, shortly before Trump's election, according to sources and documents reviewed by MS Now. A source briefed on the sting told MS Now the money for Homan, quote, was placed in a bright yellow bag from Gaza, the fast casual chain specializing in Mediterranean fare. And one of the undercover agents remarked to Homan as he made the handoff, "We both know."
Yeah, Jessica, the GDP of Somalia is very low because countries like us and Russia decimate them by interfering with them all the time, and we decapitate their leadership and we try and force them to do our will. That's why these countries are generally poor, because of countries like us and Russia. That's why, and Europe.
There was no kava in that bag, but it was still something spicy. How could a guy who was a subject of an open federal bribery investigation even pass the background check to work in a sensitive government field like Homeland Security? Well, according to exclusive reporting today by MS Now reporters.
How come they don't just say it's fraud? They add in, but why? Because what Nick is doing is putting targets on immigrants and Somalis as citizens. Nick is looping in all Somalis. The reason that I'm covering Nick and the reason that I'm covering Benny Johnson is they are taking a fraud case and they are making it about identity, and people's lives are at risk. That's why.
Carol Lennig and Ken Delanian, none of the usual checks applied to Homan and his nomination by Trump as border czar. They report that just days before Trump was sworn in, quote, a Justice Department lawyer passed an envelope across a wide desk to a top Trump transition official. That official was Emil Bovee, a lawyer who had defended Trump in his criminal trial in New York and who currently serves as a federal appeals court judge thanks to a nomination from Trump. And the envelope that Bovee received was a one-page summary of the ongoing bribery investigation against Homan. As he read the contents of the envelope, Bovee closed his eyes and grimaced, according to two people briefed on the meeting. Giving Bovee that memo was an unprecedented move, but, quote, a small group of career lawyers at the Justice Department felt an urgency to share this sensitive information with the president-elect's team as soon as possible. Because, quote, justice officials felt sure Homan would not be able to obtain a security clearance based on the evidence gathered in the corruption probe.
And yet, they gave him security clearance. The Trump administration took a man who can't get security clearance, who took a bribe, kept the bribe, and Trump said, fuck it, we're just going to give him the clearance anyways. And he bypassed all the normal sources. Trump just said, it's fine. We'll bring in a corrupt guy.
But the Trump team didn't quietly cut Homan loose. It's not even clear what Bovee did with the information DOJ had given him about Homan. What we do know is that Homan did get the job and the security clearance it required, somehow. And Trump's FBI director, Kash Patel, closed the Bureau's criminal bribery probe into Homan, even though he never really denied taking that paper bag full of cash, even when given the chance by right-wing media.
They said that you took $50,000 in cash in a bag from an undercover FBI agent to help them win government contracts in Trump's
Could somebody ban Mike, the Mike Z6? Thanks.
second term. The DOJ said they concluded
There it
there
is.
was no
There it is. There's cars. MSDNC bullshit. Aha, this clown with the finger. You did it. You did the thing. Couldn't help himself.
criminal wrongdoing, but nevertheless, that story
Yeah,
is
just accusations, right? Just accusations, just like Nick Shirley's accusations. Now, you believe Nick Shirley's accusations, we know for a fucking fact that he got $50,000. We know that for a fucking fact. See how quickly they go, oh, it's just an allegation. It's just allegations with Nick Shirley, too, but you believe that.
out there, and I imagine you want to respond to that.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I did nothing criminal. I did nothing illegal. And this hit piece after hit piece.
Can somebody explain to me how somebody could get a $50,000 bribe and do nothing illegal or criminal? What's the scenario where you can take a $50,000 bribe and it's not a crime? I'm not comparing the two. I'm moving on. I'm comparing you guys. I'm not comparing these two frauds. I'm comparing your response to it. And I think we're proving the point, because my point all along is that you don't care about fraud. You only care about fraud if it's people outside of your political side. So when I show you your political side doing fraud, suddenly you don't care anymore.
It's a hit piece.
Yeah, that's not the same thing as saying, I did not take that money full of cash in a Cava bag. Even though the federal government's top law enforcement official, Trump's hand-picked attorney general.
You can see some of the facts. You can go look into this investigation. You can read it yourself. But and I've covered this multiple times. But Tom Homan was referred. So somebody that was investigated by the FBI said, as they were investigating bribes specifically in the private prison system and people getting government contracts for ICE and Homeland Security, one of the people that they caught committing a crime said, you know what? Tom Homan takes bribes. So they're like, all right, let's see if he takes a bribe. So the government took $50,000. They put it in a bag. And it's on tape, which we're not allowed to see because the Trump administration refuses to release it. He took that $50,000 and he never gave it back. There's no scenario where that's not fraud. And by the way, anybody, if for those of you that were upset with me for comparing these two, I hope you have that same energy for the people right now who are trying to bring up Ilhan Omar and bring up anything but this fraud. I hope that you who were upset with me are having that same energy towards your Republican friends now, who now that we're talking about Republicans want to talk about anything but Republicans.
Pam Bondi understands the assignment when it comes to running interference for alleged corruption. Like Tom
Ilhan Omar's not worth $30 million. Should we fact check this? Let's do this. And then cars. This is a fun game that we play here. What is Ilhan Omar's net worth? So when I pull this up, if it's not $30 million, then you have to apologize or we get rid of you. You get deported. When I'm corrected here and I get facts wrong, and that happens probably at least once a day, I apologize. I correct it, and we move on. What does it say her net worth is? Ilhan Omar's reported net worth on financial disclosures filed in 2025 is $6 million, unless you take the net worth of her husband's company, which would then put it at $30 million. But that's not her net worth. That's his Rose Lake Capital, which is a venture capital firm. He doesn't own that all by himself. That's not all his net worth. So if you take into account the business that her husband owns with others, then you get to 30 million. So can we take can we get an apology here? Somebody, whoever said that, I just need who brought up it was Cars. I'll take the apology now, or you get deported.
Moments. What became of the $50,000 in cash that the FBI delivered, evidently in a paper bag, to Mr. Homan?
Senator, I'd look at your facts.
There's a tape, right, with Mr. Homan?
She has $6 million because of her husband's company. He has a venture capital firm, and he was wealthy before she married him.
I mean, first of all, is there a tape that has audio and video of the transfer of the $50,000?
No, it didn't sound like I was wrong, Shadow Mike. Her net worth is $6 million. You get to the $30 million figure if you take the value of the company, which they don't own. They don't own 100% of the value of the company. They have they have fractional shares, and they have other investors. So, like, if I own, for example, I owned a direct TV retailer for years, but I only owned 8% of it. So at the height, I think the company was worth something like $40 million. My net worth wasn't $40 million. It was 8% of that. Right? So I'm not wrong. It's just how math works. This is just another thing that Republicans lie about.
You would have to talk to Director Patel about that.
No, I'm talking to you.
I don't know the answer, Senator.
Yet you do know the answer to that.
Don't call me a liar.
Do call her a liar. She lies a lot. She's covering up for Epstein right now. She lied about virtually everything. If she ever gets hauled before Congress again, she's fucked.
Lennick is a Pulitzer Prize-winning MS Now senior investigative reporter who produced that exclusive. She is also the co-author of the new book, Injustice, How Politics and Fear Vanquished America's Justice Department, and she joins me now. Carol, thank you so much for this. We've been following this story for a while. I find it fascinating. For the audience to understand, what is the usual vetting process for someone at a position as high as Tom Homan's? What are the kinds of things that a functional government usually checks for someone like that before they get their position?
You know, Jason, I'm really glad you framed the question that way, because everything about this was different.
Let's see. Josh said 1% of Somalis in Minnesota committed this fraud. 5% of white men commit sex crimes in the U.S. Deport white men? Good question. Good question. No. MAGA. Let's play this game then. Actually, this is a good thought, Josh. If 1% of the Somalis in Minnesota committed this fraud, and this administration is talking about deporting them, and 5% of white men commit sex crimes in the United States, why wouldn't we deport white men? I just want to hear from Republicans. Why should all of us white men not be deported? Just Republicans. If you're a white man like me, I guess we should get deported, right? Why shouldn't we? Jessica, this is where, like, we say that you're racist. You say, I'll say it again, there was fraud equivalent to more than the GDP of their own country. They can literally fund their entire country with the funds they stole. They're American citizens, you fucking racist piece of shit. They are Americans. They're not Somalis. They live here. They're citizens of this country. Why are you saying that it's their country over there? Whatever you are, English probably. The last name Smith. Should we take all English people and make that same? They're Americans. Oh, fuck. I forgot that I shouldn't let it out. I shouldn't let my inside thoughts come outside, where I say that people that look different than me that are black, that they're not Americans. Yeah, isn't that weird how you just said that they weren't Americans right there, Jessica? It might say 0.1%. So again, why shouldn't, if these people should be deported, shouldn't I be deported? I didn't pull the identity politics. She did, Jerry Garcia. Are you too stupid to realize what she said too? How are all of you this fucking dumb? She brought up their identity. I pointed out that what she was doing was identity politics. She did identity politics. I pointed it out. And just like you did with Nick Shirley lies. I point out that he lies. You're mad at me, not at him. Tough, huh?
Than other presidential administrations.
Okay, then explain it, Jessica. If they're American citizens, why are you saying that it's their country? Why are you saying Somalia is their country if they're American citizens? Explain it to me. Maybe I didn't grasp the concept you were getting at. What's the concept you're getting at, Jessica? Oh, wait. I agree. Nick Shirley's a joke. Thank you, 2A Hillbilly. Appreciate you bringing that up. I'll just wait. We can play some ads here while we're waiting. Like if I get a pool noodle and go to the park and LARP with my friends and dress up in costumes, how's that any different than being a Republican? They call themselves Somalian, not Americans. No, we just saw the guy. He said he was an American. Who are you citing right there, Jessica? Who says they're calling themselves Somalian? Does Ilhan Omar say that? She says she's an American. User, I would talk all this shit to every fucking one of you losers in front of you. In fact, I beg you guys to come up here every day, and you guys are cowards. You're out of your goddamn mind if you don't think that I say this in public and would say this to public. I would absolutely say this to you in public, and it doesn't make you look cool that you say shit like that. You have the opportunity to talk to me every day. My face is on camera. I put my face behind my words. You don't. I'm saying this in public. If you're ever in Mesa, Arizona, send me a message and I'll come meet you at a coffee shop and I'll tell you to your face, if you're still saying the shit, that you are a dumb motherfucker. And if you get mad and punch me, then I'm going to say that you're kind of also a thin-skinned bitch who can't make an argument, so you resort to violence. This is a silly thing that you're doing. We're mad. They're mad. They get real mad when we call out racism. You're disgusting for not being racist. You said that Jessica girl was racist because she keeps calling all of these people Somalis and saying their country when they're citizens of this country. How disgusting.
Normal.
I'm on the wrong side of history. Yeah, tell me, Jerry, when was the last time that we took a group of people and took the actions of a few people and applied it to the whole of those people and gave punishment to the whole of the people for the actions of a few? When in history has that been the right side of history? When has the right side of history been mass deportation? When has the right side of history been this type of punishment based on identity? I'll wait for that. This is going to be the time. This is the time when bigotry is actually right. And every time it was dumb bitches like you that are like, you're going to be on the wrong side of history. And then they're like, oh, fuck, Nuremberg trials? I was just following orders. Wait, when? Somebody give me an example. When's the time? Was it right when we threw Japanese people in internment camps? That was the right thing to do? Just give me an example of a time when taking the crimes of a handful of people and applying it to a group of people was the right side of history. I remember this exact same mentality is why we wound up in Iraq and Afghanistan. Was that the right thing to do? That was okay, gotcha. Okay, the Holocaust. Thank you. I appreciate you being honest. Yeah, it was the right thing to do to put Japanese people in internment camps. It was the right thing to do the Holocaust. I hear you. Gotcha. But you're not racist, right? We're not racist.
is somebody wins the presidency. In November, every 4 years, there's an election. That person who wins the presidency has a list of names that they and their top aides have considered as prospective appointees, and they submit them.
No, Larry, they're not here on temporary status. The business, most of them are citizens. Some are on temporary status. The guy that was interviewed where Nick Shirley went was born here in this country. He is a citizen. He was born and raised in the United States of America. Some people have temporary status, but some have become citizens. Let's try again.
To the FBI for background checks.
We have everything. The left has everything in common with Germany. So let's talk about Germany. Let's talk about 1930s Germany. Let's do this. Now, in 1930s Germany, we'll close this because I'm just going to talk shit until I get tired of talking shit. In the 1930s, there was the rise of the American Nazi Party. And in America, there was the rise of the American Nazi Party. And in Germany, they had their flags, which were super cool flags, and they had their cute little outfits, and they had the Hitler Youth. And in America, we had our own Nazi youth programs. And they decided, you know what we need? We need a slogan. The Nazis in America, we need a slogan so people know what us Nazis are all about. I don't know if you know this. Literally, the American Nazi Party. It was Charles Lindbergh. You're familiar with Charles Lindbergh. He was kind of like the main guy. Big fan of Hitler. Huge fan of Hitler. And the American Nazis said, we got to do some branding here. How could we tell the American people very quickly like what we're all about? What kind of slogan could we use that would let them know what we, the American Nazis, are all about? And by the way, if we go into World War, or if we go into this war, we're going to side with the Germans because the Germans are actually right. What should we call ourselves? What should the brand be? Let's do America First. Let's call ourselves the America First Party. And what did those people advocate for? Mass deportations of immigrants. Anti-Semitism. Government intervention in industry, taking controlling interest in industry. Kind of like what Trump's doing with NVIDIA and Intel, right? Oh, gotcha. And then what do? They took these immigrants and these homeless people and these Jewish people who were here legally, just like these Somalis, and they decided that even though you're here legally, you're not really part of our culture. You kind of fuck up our culture. You're trying to kill our culture. There were multiple people in this chat today that was like, they're trying to kill the culture of Western society. They're trying to kill the culture of our German society, our nice Aryan society. And so they took Jewish people, LGBTQ people, brown people, and political opponents, and they put them in camps. And these weren't death camps, just so you know. They were just places that they needed to go. And because they didn't want the German people to know exactly what was happening, instead of having those camps in Germany, they put the camps in Poland. Now in America, we would never do that. We wouldn't take people and put them, for example, in El Salvador. We wouldn't just recently this week sign a contract with an island in the middle of the ocean and give them $7.5 million to take immigrants and go have them work in camps. We wouldn't do that. We would never do any of that stuff. The only difference between you and them is the final solution. Disabled people too, thank you. The final solution for the Nazi Party in Germany was, we have all these people locked up. We don't really want it. Like, we're going to lose the war. We don't really want to let them back out. So we're just going to kill all of them. And that's where there is a divide between you. And we can be honest, like, maybe you'll get to that point. Maybe you won't. You know, I think some of you are hoping for that. I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that we should line these people up and kill them. I saw a lot of applause for Donald Trump literally doing slavery, literally selling immigrants to go work on an island, literally selling immigrants to CCOT. But you guys are totally different though, right? It's us. We're so much like the Nazis that we advocate for the rights of LGBTQ people. We're so much like the Nazis that we like a melting pot of different ideologies and different cultures. We're so much like Nazis that we welcome people from Islam. We welcome people from any country. Yeah, we're exactly like them, except for that you guys are exactly like them. No self-avowed Nazis, white nationalists in our leadership. You got Stephen Miller up there. What's the guy's name? Paul Ingrassia. What's his official role right now? Does anybody know his official role? Paul Ingrassia's. He's the acting general counsel of the GSA. Does he have a different role now? General counsel. Okay. Starting in this month, he's the general counsel. He's on record of saying, I've got a bit of a Nazi streak in me. Come in legally or stay in your shithole country. Yeah, you sound a lot like the Nazis there. Illegal gets deported. That's just the law. You sound like Nazis. I'm just saying. I understand that you guys don't like being called Nazis, but like don't repeat what they say. You have all of you literally share their entire ideology. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Fuck the Nazis. Let me check comments. Oh shit, Jen sent me a bunch. Tim, thanks for joining the Dollar Train. Jocelyn said Minnesota just implemented a 2-year pause on new licenses for some care providers for investigation and resource management. Pink said Happy New Year to Jay, Jen, and my fellow heathens. Thanks for making this hell of a year more bearable. Jamar said, I'm learning that MAGA literally rejects facts that are right in front of their faces. Robin, thanks, said Happy New Year. John said, desperately trying to get RTP's Discord. I sent you a DM on TikTok, the New Yorker. Oh yeah, don't send me DMs on TikTok. That's hard it's hard for me to read those. I forget all the time. Zane said Happy New Year. Burnout Medic said MAGA fatigue is a real thing. Jesus, Jen sent me this. Let's see what this is. Somali-run daycare in Minnesota gets broken into and barraged with threats of violence after MAGA smear video goes viral. The Nokomis Daycare Center in Minneapolis was broken into yesterday, leaving a trail of damage and debris. The thieves stole sensitive employee and client documents, which will remind you include the personal information and home addresses of 71 children. Got to protect those kids. Nasrullah Mohammed, the business's 20-year-old manager, told the Minnesota Star Tribune that the breaches led to immense fear in the community. We're honest. We don't do any fraud or nothing. All this happened today, not because of the truth or the facts, but all because of fear and lies. The robbery comes after the daycare received at least 20 threatening phone calls, some of them filled with ethnic slurs and insults to the Islamic religion. Okay, I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to show that you're good people. Do you reject? Do you want to distance yourself from these types of actions? Do you think that this type of behavior is okay? So I don't know, just give you an opportunity. Or do you think this is justified? Thumbs up if you think it's justified. Thumbs down if you don't think it's justified. That'll be easier. Thumbs up if it's justified. Thumbs down if it's not. I want to see thumbs. Thumbs down. Thumbs down. Good. I'm looking for specifically Republicans. I want to give you this opportunity to say that this type of violence is wrong. Gotcha. Woodburger, you still don't know what fascism is. Good. I'm proud of you. Good job. I appreciate that. I don't see any of the MAGA actually responding to this. I'm looking. Has any MAGA responded to this? Mario Rodriguez says, yes, we like this. Yeah, it's cool. Cool. Hey, guy, whatever your name is, it's Jay. Thanks for asking. User, hiding behind a user. Would I take an illegal immigrant in and take care of them in your home? If I had the means to do so, sure, but that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is citizens of the United States, not illegal immigrants. I don't know why you're even bringing this up. These people that are accused of committing fraud in Minnesota are citizens. They're not illegal immigrants, so I'm not sure why you're asking that question. I don't know people's parties just by their name. I'm just looking for people that I know for sure are MAGA that are here every day. So I'm sure there's some MAGA that said thumbs down. I'm just looking for people that I recognize. All right. Well, I'm glad you said that. That's fucking horrific. That's the type of shit that you get, though, with this type of reporting and with Benny Johnson. It's not about reporting. Like, if Nick Shirley just, again, this has been reported on. There wasn't violence happening to these people until MAGA got involved, until MAGA turned it in to this story, until you have people like Benny Johnson and Nick Shirley going out and making it a race thing. That's when the violence came. Again, this has been investigated for like 6 years. It was covered by the left for years. You guys didn't cover it. As soon as you covered it, here came the violence. Isn't that weird? I'm not even saying that you necessarily are violent, but that's why it's important for people like Nick Shirley to be careful with their words and not say things that are lies, because there are crazy people out there, and there are people who are going to hear that this is obvious fraud and they're stealing and they're trying to decimate our culture and they're trying to take over America, and they go out and they commit acts of violence like this, and they think what they're doing is their patriotic duty, when in reality it's just racist or bigoted terroristic acts. It is a race thing. You guys got to stop saying it's not a race thing. If it wasn't a race thing, then you guys would cover fraud from white people. Nick Shirley, Benny Johnson, not a single one of these people has mentioned that the ringleader is a white person. However, they all bring up the word Somali. It's 100% a race thing. I don't know why you guys are so fucking afraid to admit that. You're not talking about other fraud. You're not talking about fraud by white people. The ringleader is a white lady. None of you have brought that up. Not one of you has brought that up today. Not Benny Johnson, not Nick Shirley. I'm not saying that if you think fraud is happening, like if you think that there are Somalis in Minnesota who are committing fraud, that is not racist. However, if you only care about fraud when it's Somalis, and then you watch Nick Shirley and Benny Johnson and you get agitated by the things that they're saying, and they are only pointing to Somalis when it comes to this fraud, that is racist. And maybe this is a time to understand, or to help you guys understand something. Racism takes many forms. Racism isn't I hate black people. Effectively, if it's racist. So if this is only affecting, if the criticism of this fraud is only leading to the persecution of Somalis, then the action and the rhetoric has a racist outcome. It's only Somalis who are being persecuted for this. Xenophobia, bigotry, racism, whatever you want to call it. It's only them. You're not seeing a bunch of other people being persecuted for this. It's one group of people. And I do think that that's the problem, is that most of you don't understand like what racism is. You think it literally is. If you see a black person and you don't immediately hate them, you're like, oh, I must not be racist. That's not what this is. And it's a little embarrassing. Like every other country, like most other countries have figured this out, except for the conservative side. It shouldn't be ironic at all that there are massive conservative movements all over the world, and they are all being funded by the same people, like Elon Musk. They're all having their message amplified by the same handful of billionaires, and they're all saying the same thing: immigrants are the problem. Immigrants are the problem. Immigrants are the problem. And in America, and in the UK, and in Australia, we're at like historic lows for violent crime. Violent crime has never been lower in most of our lifetimes. This is as like docile as we've been, and somehow you guys have been convinced that there is this massive crime spree and that people are coming to take over our country. So if the facts don't back you up, if we know that immigrants to this country commit crimes at much lower rates than US-born citizens, if we know that stat's right, And we know that crime's at all-time lows, and you guys are convinced that it's at all-time highs, but you keep pointing at DC, Chicago, Somalis. You keep pointing at weirdly at just like particularly black and brown communities. Well, it's not. It's just the facts. The problem is it's also not the facts. So you might be you could be one of two things. You could not understand that it's racist. You could just be stupid and be going along with it. But the end result is the same. I can't figure out what your feelings are. I'll never know. Maybe you're just dumb. But the end result is racism. The end result is bigotry. The end result is people are being treated as second-class citizens because you're going along with obvious lies. So I don't really fucking care what's in your heart. I'm not judging your hearts. I'm judging the actions. And the actions are obviously racist. All right, moving on. Bet I don't know what peer-reviewed means? Yeah. That means your peers review it. That's not even a hard one. All right, let's see. Do I have anything else on this? I don't think I have anything else on this. We'll get to some other stuff. I'm going to keep you guys posted tomorrow. I don't think we definitely are not going to have a show tomorrow morning, but I got to check with my daughter's schedule. We may do like an afternoon show because I still have another half of the show that we can cover tomorrow, and I'm sure there will be more news and more dipshits coming out of Minnesota. So I'm sure we'll have something. Let me check messages one more time, then we'll get out of here. Garrett, thank you for the super chat. Ashley said, I vote we take Epstein Island and send all the diehard racist MAGA there. That'd be, yeah. You guys want to go there? It's a nice place. You can pretend that it doesn't have a history of like abusing children, just like you pretend America doesn't have a history of being racist and conquerors. You're pretty good at that. Carry Me says, Happy New Year. Thank you. Jay Hara, I think I got that one. I think I got everybody. If I missed a super chat from any of you, I apologize. I think I got all of them. Take care of yourselves tonight. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't puff and drive. Make good decisions. Ladies, go in the partner system. 2026 is on the way. Hopefully it's a better year. I appreciate all of you guys who have been with us through all of 2025. It's been a absolute hell of a year. The growth of the channel has been really cool to see, but more importantly, like the community that has been built has been awesome. I think it's kind of your guys' community, and you take care of each other. I'm just the show. I'm just here for you to make fun of. But I've loved seeing you guys interact with each other. I've loved watching as people have needed help and care, or people who are just feeling lonely or sad. I've loved watching you guys step in and take care of each other. And I think that's a beautiful thing that you guys have done. So thank you for letting me be part of that and supporting me and Jen this entire year. To all the mods that are here on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch, you guys have been absolutely phenomenal. I don't give you enough credit for all that you do, but thank you. If Bree's here, Bree, do we have a raid set up on Twitch? And then Jen, do we have a raid set up, or can we raid somebody on TikTok?
Let me take a look and see who's on.
Is Bree here? Oh, there's Bree. Gus Tex. Oh yeah, we owe Gus. Gus TX Broadcast is who we're gonna raid over on Twitch.
TikTok. Let's see. Trying to see who's live at this.
I'll let you. Let me look, see who we haven't rated for a while. There are not a lot of people. How about Erica Shante?
Yeah.
Okay. Erica _Shante, SHANTE. That's who we're going to raid over on TikTok. Tell them RTP sent you. Guys, I'll see you either tomorrow, possibly, or on Friday for Friendly Friday. Take care of yourselves. Stay cute and cool. And have a great summer.